Dean Jones going to go to the left of your screen. You're going to hook him up with Tyson Craigs, number 45, coming across here. It's a foot race now. Craigs is fast, but not that fast. And a nice block by Jay Curry coming up here. But look at that control of the feet right here. Wow, what a nice cut and get into the end zone.
So since that first mistake by Piniella, he pays the price there a bit, Jamie, but that offense has been running nicely since.
You know, he had just enough time to get the ball off.
This is Dave Stella, the receiver. Dave Stella, the kicker now, and for that point after, makes it a 7-0 game, and the first points on the board in this Vanier Cup number 38. Approaching the midway point of the first quarter, St. Mary's takes the initiative down to Paul Hollingsworth.
Standing by with Dean Jones, a great run. Tell us about the play.
Oh, it was just a crossing pattern. They all followed the other guys. I came across, Vanilla hit me. Got a great block by Dave Stella. Put a move on a guy, right into the end zone.
Go catch your breath, buddy.
Nice.
All right, Rod, back to you.
Thanks, Paul.
You know, it sounds like he didn't even think that Tyson Craigs was actually following him, but he was such a separation. He was about 3 or 4 yards behind him.
Sounds like I do when I come up a few flight of stairs to get up here to the broadcast booth.
Right here. Really nice job. He just turns on the jets and gets around the corner. But look at this cut right here. He steps up, comes back down on his left foot again, then goes into the end zone. That is just an exceptional run.
Really had Justin Pulowski tied up there right near the sideline and getting in.
You know, Dean Jones, one of those fifth-year players with the Huskies from Irma, Alberta. And you know, when Blake Neal talked about building his program similar to what Brian Towers has done, I mean, he took one of those pages out of his book and he went out to Edmonton and grabbed a lot of ex-junior guys and brought them into St. Mary's.
And Dean Jones used to take his lumps at the hands of the Saskatchewan Hilltops and Regina Rams. I don't know if the Edmonton Huskies, that junior team he played for, ever won a game against them. So maybe a taste of revenge against some players that played their junior ball in Saskatchewan right there for Dean Jones of Irma, Alberta. Here's Sheldon Ball hitting back on now. His team in a hole, and they've had some trouble on offense so far in this game.
You know, one thing that is nice for Saskatchewan is to have a guy with Sheldon Ball's experience in this football game. You know, he's been around. He was in the Vanier Cup in 1998.
Block below the waist on the receiving team. First down.
Somebody's crying for a number. They do not announce numbers in the CIS and penalties. That takes it back, that penalty, down to the 16 for U of S.
One.
Graham Bell in motion. Taking the handoff. And a deep route down the sideline intended for Chad Rempel, who Jamie had mentioned was injured and did not play against McGill last week. First attempt for him in this game, but it falls incomplete.
And he's an outstanding receiver. And you know, it's interesting, when Chad Rempel went out, you know, he went out just before the playoffs, and they asked Sheldon Ball about it, and he said, you know, actually it's interesting because when he went out, everybody kind of picked their game up, and I started spreading the ball around a lot more, and we became more effective offensively. He said he was always my go-to guy, and he still is, and he's a great asset. They want to have him in the football game, but he said it helped him in terms of developing their passing game throughout the playoffs.
See those linemen there, Hundaby and Sutherland, they were teammates, both in their first year with U of S, and they were teammates with the Saskatoon Hilltops as well. But Rempel, the leading receiver this year for the Saskatchewan Huskies, it's 2nd and 10 now after that incompletion.
It means a lot to me. Obviously, it's against my old team, and now I'm getting on in late in my college career here, and it'd be a nice way to go out for sure. It's been one heck of a run thus far.
And I'm sitting beside a guy who had to play in a Vanier Cup against his old team. 1976, twice, and 77.
Twice. The first year was really kind of strange. I can tell you. I know what Chris Embolaris is feeling right now.
When it's Western against Acadia back then. Dean Jones going on Sembolaris' side. Lots of room for Jones down inside the 10, close to the end zone. Mark it at the 5-yard line. And St. Mary's is taking control of this game on the ground. And, of course, supported by Sembolaris and that big offensive line.
You know, a year ago we saw Luis Perez was a feature back at St. Mary's, and this year it's Dean Jones, the all-Canadian running back. They run counter sweep, come back, and boy, what a hole. But now he just kicks it into overdrive here and just pulls away from people. Real good block at the point of attack. Mike McPherson does a real nice seal block. And then he just turns it on. Not very big, 5'9", 180, but effective.
So here's Bill Robinson in on the first down and goal at the 5, and he, on the option, keeps it himself and picks up a couple of yards.
Now, Bill Robinson, they will keep him in the football game right now, I believe, because it's still short. They like to run option, fake it inside to Erico Hakeem. Dean Jones is the pitch man, and then Robinson tries to turn up the corner and get in the end zone.
What hurts more for Saskatchewan's defense, number 2, the safety Eric Duchesne, injured in the first series for St. Mary's. He suffered a serious left ankle injury, I'm told, and likely will not return. Certainly looks like the day is done so early. What a shame for Eric Duchesne.
It really is a shame. You know, he was a second-team All-Canadian a year ago, really the leader of that defensive secondary. And to lose a guy like him early in the football game, it's really got to hurt Saskatchewan, but you really had to feel for him as well. Coming all this way in his 4th year, maybe his last chance at getting into a Vanier Cup, and then to sit and watch it on the sidelines is not where you want to be.
And a bigger concern, too, for Brian Towers, another player on defense. That's Ryan Gotzeleg up front. The defensive tackle is hurting as well at a critical moment for Saskatchewan's defense with St. Mary's at 2nd and goal from the 3. Ryan Gotzeleg in his 2nd year out of Moose Jaw, same hometown for Brian Towers.
And went to the same high school, Peacock. Which, by the way, I believe Brian Towers had his old high school football coach who's in town this week, and he paid honor to him the other night at one of the awards banquets.
But all Brian Towers can think about now is the key injuries and a perilous situation now for Saskatchewan.
Just see to the left of your screen, you know, it's always the way when you're inside there, Rod, how sometimes it's not the guy that blocking how you get hurt, it's another guy falls into. Well, that's good to see that he's up on his walking off, but real dangerous part of the world in there. The pit.
You see number 56, Jason Coral, coming out now, and Drew Kendall to see if they can offer him some help to get off. Obviously in better shape, it would appear, than Eric Duchesne was, but very uncertain now when or if we will see him back in the ball game. It's not looking good at all for Duchesne. So a couple of key losses right now in Saskatchewan's defense, at a point where they're trying to hold off St. Mary's from another touchdown. SMU, in large part because of the running game, will just take charge of this Vanier Cup.
There's no question right now this is a big stand for Saskatchewan.
Made all the more difficult now. 2nd down and goal. Robinson still in a QB, gives it to Jones. There's a good defensive play. Number 45, Tyson Griggs. Griggs comes up with that big tackle, and it's 3rd down.
Boy, Tyson Griggs really makes a great hit here. This could be right now the spark that the Huskies need. You know, 5'11", 220, and he just judges this one perfectly with Dean Jones. Once he leaves the ground, that's a perfect form tackle. What a great job.
He was 3rd in the CIS in tackles this year, and there's a big one.
Playing middle linebacker in that position. Well, he wasn't going to let go. And St. Mary's are going to go for it.
What a stand this would be for the Green Huskies. What a lift it would be, trailing by 7. Robinson, the keeper, he's in for the touchdown.
Boy, that was just the goose and go. I don't think there was any cadence given at all.
Bill Robinson Jr., whose father was a star quarterback in the CIS with St. Mary's and won a Vanier with Western in 1974. Back-to-back with different schools, and this St. Mary's quarterback by the name of Robinson has a Vanier Cup touchdown.
I think that's just the goose and go. You see the other offensive lineman didn't really move. Just kind of timed. He just kind of gives him that little tap, and the ball comes up, and Saskatchewan's defensive line were not ready. Gutsy call on 3rd down.
Made a little easier when you're up 7-0, I suppose, but the upside is tremendous for St. Mary's. The Stala convert, it is now a 14-0 lead. St. Mary's, I should point out, 12 years ago, Jamie, you'd remember, Saskatchewan had the 14-0 lead over St. Mary's in the Battle of the Huskies. And they came back to tie it later on. It was a close game in the end. Let's go down to Paul Hollingsworth.
With Bill Robinson Jr. making the most of your appearance in the football game, tell me a bit about the short yardage play.
Well, the one on the goal line, I saw the middle wide open. We had a off tackle left on, but I saw the middle wide open, so top and go at the center. We just took it in.
Thanks for the speed.
Thanks.
All right. Back to you.
Sembolaris and that O-line, they did their job all the way down.
And Rod, you only have to go back to 1996 when St. FX was leading Saskatchewan 12-0 at the half.
But these numbers don't look too good for the Saskatchewan Huskies right now. All the offense going the way of St. Mary's, the defending national champion.
Well, there's no question there's quite a bit of pressure on Brian Towers right now. He's got to get something going offensively to keep that St. Mary's offense off the field.
Stella the kick down to Graham Bell at his 10. Looked like they were setting up the return to the right. He cuts it back up, but just gets it up across the 20 to the 22.
I'll tell you, anytime in Canadian football when you can keep a team from advancing past their 30-yard line, you're doing a very good job. And St. Mary's pin Saskatchewan inside their own 25 on the 22-yard line. Sheldon Ball has not had a completion yet this afternoon. Been sacked twice.
And he has had time to throw the ball, as you talked about, a couple of coverage sacks.
Just said St. Mary's do such a great job defensively of disguising things. Looks like they're in man and they're in zone. They'll play man underneath, zone on top.
Long count on the toss. Tyler Seawack has to work for every foot he can get up around the 25. It'll still be second and long for Saskatchewan.
You know, they're just having trouble sealing that corner. They can't get around the edge. St. Mary's is doing a very good job of working hard outside. And if you watch, Rod, just prior to the snap of the ball, it looks like St. Mary's gets set and then they shift. And you know, and that throws off everything. They start to go in different gaps, they play different techniques, and it throws off the offensive line trying to make decisions in fractions of a second on who I'm going to block and what technique I'm going to use to block them.
Once again, a long count. Completing that pass to Chad Rempel, his first catch of the day. And a good game, Saskatchewan, their best of the game easily. Up near midfield, and a big first down.
Well, you want to go to your money guy, and I'm sure they're real glad that Chad Rempel's ready for this football game. St. Mary's are coming with the blitz. Joe Bonaventura trying to come into that A gap between the guard and center. Three-step drop. One-on-one, he just kind of jukes around Phil Roberge. 1, 2, 3. Nice job, good move right there. Kind of back, goes up, and then defensive lineman Justin Sevigny comes off and makes the tackle.
Ball up at the 46. Saskatchewan down by 14, but on the move now. Looking off to his right. Completion. That's Jeff Piercy for another first down across midfield to St. Mary's 50.
Real nice job by Sheldon Ball here again. Short drop, looking outside. He's got his running back open in the flat. Take him. And that's where experience really comes into play, I think, Rod. If you get a quarterback back there that's been around a while, you know, he's not going to try and force a lot of things. He'll take things that you give him. Because he realized this game is far from over.
Still in the first quarter, 3:24 on the clock. Back coming Saskatchewan. How far? Let's see. A counter. Well executed. David Stevens near another first down, and that one on the ground as they get close to the SMU 40.
Well, this is impressive by Saskatchewan right now. 3 consecutive first downs. 2 in the air, 1 now running. Run the counter. Sevigny works up the field way too hard. I think he thought it was pass, and they run right underneath him. Good tough run.
David Stevens and Tyler Seawack both had great games on the ground against McGill. Good ball control offense, 123 yards running. And a first down there at the SMU 40-yard line. Flag down that time, Seawack. A good game. Takes a stick and keeps his feet, and they keep moving. He gets inside the 25, and was St. Mary's offside. Once again, we're getting a long count from Sheldon Ball, like he's trying to draw them off.
I think he's doing a great job by doing that. He's going on snap count of 3, 4, 2, mixing it up. making sure that St. Mary's can't pin their ears back and just really come after them.
Offside on the defense. Decline. First down.
So, of course, they decline. The second straight first down on the ground for Saskatchewan. And this offense has come to life.
Tyler Seawack, he's not very tall, 5'8", 196 pounds, but take a look at the power in his legs when he gets down in here. He just lowers his shoulder. Right here, bang. Against Sean Mifflin, one of the top hitters in that St. Mary's football team.
Inside the 25. Handing off again. Breaking a tackle. Still on his feet. Stevens. Hit hard by Roberge, but not before he gets close to first down yardage again. That sounded pretty intense.
And that was a great job by Kurt Hundeby, the left guard, how he hooked Jeff Moody, the all-star linebacker from St. Mary's. Allowed the play to get outside.
Gain of 9 for Stevens there inside the 15. 2nd and 1. Ball. Has the ball. Hands it off. Seawack, first down. It'll be 1st and goal inside the 10. And that Saskatchewan Husky team is answering right back down by 14.
Well, we talk about what a great coach Brian Towers is.
Right. Our left eye, 41 slot back, cross back flat.
Sounds like a pass play to me. Sounds like a slot coming across.
I'll take your word for
play
it.
action pass. But Brian Towers has done a very good job of looking at that tape from a week ago when McMaster ran so successfully off tackle against his St. Mary's football team. And he's taking a page out of that book because it looks like he's doing a little bit of that right now. Running a lot of that counter trap stuff that Mac did so effectively with Kyle Peer.
So a little breather now for Sheldon Ball. And the Saskatchewan Husky offense still on the field with the ball just nosing inside the 10. So the longest variety of 1st and goal. They need the full 10 yards to get in. Passing this time. And knocked away, it looked like it anyway, by Jeff Moody, the linebacker number 55, intended for Seawack.
You know, you're always trying to find the one-on-one coverage as a quarterback, and St. Mary's jumped into man down here, of course, because they're so close to the goal line, but there were 2 guys on Tyler Seawack. It sounded like the last play call sounded like Brian Towers wanted to go to the slot back, but instead Sheldon Ball threw off to the tailback going out into the flat.
Saskatchewan Huskies are on the board.
Well, Chad Rempel didn't have 38 catches for a 21-yard average this season for nothing. I mean, he does a really good job in man cover. Just goes down, stop, turns inside. Good concentration and nice pass by Sheldon Ball. 3-step drop. Boy, they're glad to have him back.
Boy, given the injuries on their defense, being down by 14, the conversion there by Charnota, it's just what the Green Huskies needed to get back into this football game. There's the man with a touchdown. And the man who threw, Sheldon Ball. It's the Vanier Cup on TSN.
As we take a look at the numbers today, 43 yards rushing.
We're in the first quarter. He's got over 100 yards total. first down. The sticks move for St. Mary's.
We're talking about the running backs coming in. Eriko Hakim, of course, is the fullback. Gabe Harvey is also more of a fullback type. But they also have a guy named Les Mullings that Blake Nill has talked about, saying that he thinks that he could be really a great football player for this team. And, you know, he's only carried the ball about 14 times this year, but for 191 yards, it's a 13.6-yard average. So we might see number 15 into the football game.
More receivers into the game right now. Mike McPherson and Atlas Mayo. This toss goes off to Stefan Lubin. He's the backup running back that comes in and takes that little toss and goes through to finish off the quarter. A 3-touchdown quarter in this game. 2 touchdowns for St. Mary's. One of them right there by Dean Jones, who's injured right now, but helps his team. And he gets stuck. But ultimately, a Robinson touchdown, followed by a Saskatchewan touchdown by Chad Rempel through 1 quarter. 14-7.
This update is brought to you by Nikon. Digital photography, Nikon quality.
Hi, everybody. Corey Warren here in the TSN newsroom. We'll get you back to the game in a second. But first, the CFL has called a news conference for 6 o'clock Eastern time, where it's expected that former Adidas Canada executive Tom Wright will be named the new commissioner of the CFL. Other news to tell you about: NHL matinee action. Islanders and Rangers third period, tied at 1. Alexei Yashin circling. He falls, but gets it to Brad Isbister, who goes 5-hole. The Islanders would add another and take it by a final count of 3-1. U.S. college football, number 2 Ohio State taking on number 9 Michigan. Fourth quarter, Buckeyes down 9-7. Maurice Hall takes the pitch and he gets it in from 4 yards out. That secures an undefeated season for the Buckeyes and likely a shot at a national title. That's going to do it for now. Stay tuned throughout the day. We'll have details and everything else for you. But right now, we'll get you back to more action from the Vanier Cup.
What's there to celebrate about life in Canada? Celebrate ice, trees, determination. Celebrate hard work that pays off. Come celebrate a great year with us at Ford dealers from coast to coast.
For a limited time, no payments for 99 days, and receive an exclusive Wayne Gretzky collectible.
Listen to the one sound that can instantly transform your day into a nightmare. Avoid trouble right from the start with a Napa Power 60 battery on special from only $69.95. Plus, get a fall tune-up and take advantage of a limited-time $10 mail-in rebate offer. Hurry in today and get a head start on winter. Napa battery and fall tune-up offers available at these participating installers.
1 quarter's in the books here in the 38th Vanier Cup. It is St. Mary's leading their fellow Huskies from Saskatchewan 14-7 through 15 minutes. Looking at Steve Piniella. And you see how they work that offense with Piniella and Bill Robinson, and the numbers through 1.
It was all St. Mary's initially, but then with that nice 88-yard drive by Saskatchewan to give them that 7 points, they're back in the ball game.
It is 2nd and 9, St. Mary's. Curry with the ball. Gets up near a first down, but not quite. Just around midfield. It'll be interesting to see where it's spotted on this 2nd down play. Just over midfield, and to get to about the 54 of St. Mary's to have that first down. This will be a close and interesting 3rd down call by the looks of things for Blake Nill.
And especially since Dean Jones is not in the football game. And Steve Samari, you see just to the right of your screen, that was talking to Blake Nill. He's the offensive coordinator. Looks like an ankle injury.
And Bill Robinson has come in at quarterback. Steve Piniella's out, so you know they're going for it.
Yeah, that's a sign to me that Dean Jones is coming back in the football game. They're taping his ankle up.
Well, they need much less than a yard, about a foot at most. Robinson miscalls his numbers left. He easily has it. Robinson had a first quarter touchdown in short yardage for St. Mary's. He had one last week in the Churchill Bowl in Hamilton against McMaster. And he goes out and Piniella comes back on in. That rotation has worked very well for the St. Mary's Huskies this season.
You know, I think that's a tribute to him because he did have two quarterbacks that had complementing skills, and instead of trying to find a starter, you know, it can create controversy. He said, listen, both you guys are going to play because you both bring something to our offense.
First down now, Pinella in, handing off. Stefan Luban getting his second carry of the game, number 2. So he's carrying the ball with Dean Jones on the sideline, and he gets about 5 yards.
Stefan Luban filling in for Dean Jones from Brampton, Ontario. St. Mary's like those small little backs, you know, 5'8", 185 pounds. Pretty nifty feet.
Handing off to Luban again. Lost yardage this time. Flag comes down late as well. And it's a holding call going against St. Mary's. So they'll decline it and force SMU to punt the football.
Illegal block on the offense. Decline. Third down.
Excuse me, illegal block called against St. Mary's with Dave Stalla, the punter, back at his 45 to get it away.
Well, that's what Saskatchewan had to do, is stop St. Mary's.
That's an important set of downs for Saskatchewan.
It was very important. They had to prove to themselves that they could stop them, and they certainly did.
Of course, it did help that Dean Jones, as we mentioned, was not in the game. But a good confidence boost for a team that scored the last touchdown. Has some momentum now in the punt by Stalla. Taken back by David. Aaron David on the move. Nearly tackled in his end zone. They've got him hemmed in deep. So if Saskatchewan's offense is to carry on with this momentum, they'll have to go a long way back inside their 5.
I'll tell you, Aaron David was playing with fire here. I know he's trying to get out left to get to the wall so he can try and get up the field. But boy, you don't want to get too close to your goal line. You don't want to go backwards.
A rematch from last night's game in the NBA. Iverson and the Sixers just off that win over the Raptors. Take them on again at the Air Canada Center. Watch it on TSN. 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. Tough road for the Toronto Raptors these days without Vince Carter. Antonio Davis looking good last night, but the rest of the team did not, and that lost to the Sixers in Philadelphia. Things not looking good for Saskatchewan here. The run is stuffed. They're down near their 1-yard line.
I'll tell you, St. Mary's had 8 people in that force unit there. They say 8 in the box, and awful tough sled when you're trying to run up inside of that. You know, everybody thought this year, and really that has been a concern of Blake Nils, was their defensive line because of the players that they lost last year. They lost Eric Lyman, of course, All-Canadian Kyle Morrison, and All-Canadian Doug Borden. And, you know, he said, we felt our secondary was pretty good and our linebackers were pretty good, but, you know, we had to really, we were concerned initially about our front 4. There's Justin Sevigny, one of the first-year players. They got Tim Burris, he's another first-year player. Tim McDonald in second year, and Bruce Nelson in third.
Second and 9, and a big play from Saskatchewan, hemmed in deep. Looking for the quick pass instead. Ball, taken down. Put 2 on the board for St. Mary's on the safety. As Sheldon Ball is sacked for the 3rd time today. And one of those new guys, Vanier, up front, getting the job done for SMU.
And you're going to hear Brian Tower say he didn't have much time that time. But you know what? If you're doing 3-step drop, you got to get rid of that thing right now. I mean, you cannot sit there and try and read stuff. 3-step drop, you have to make your mind up. Right now, you got to go with it. If it's not there, throw it away. But you can't take a sack in your own end zone.
So it becomes a 16-7 lead now for the St. Mary's Huskies.
And plus, they'll get the ball back on Saskatchewan from Saskatchewan as they kick off. touchdown passes in a game against the University of British Columbia.
Wasn't it 8?
I think it was 8. You're right. I think it was 7 in the first half.
Of course, he won the MVP of the Ted Norris Trophy, the Vanier. Brent Schneider did. That one goes out of bounds, so. But Schneider won MVP back in the '94 game that they lost to Westerman. Here's a look at Sheldon Ball again. Didn't have a lot of time.
No, they were bringing the house. I mean, you had Joe Bonaventura, the middle linebacker, in there, and Burris is in there. But it's tough when you're taking a 3-step. I mean, you really do have to know where you're going with the ball prior to the snap. You can't come off of it.
Procedure on the kickoff.
Offensive
25
lineman is trying to
yards up
sustain.
Point of kickoff. First down.
For a very short period of time, the initial onslaught of the defensive line, and they're not in a pass protection technique.
You just got to jam that up. If they're going to bring that in, there's going to be someone else.
But that's the key, is finding the guy who is open. They said they're going to bring that many, someone's going to be open. But that's the thing. St. Mary's is betting they're going to get the quarterback before the quarterback can find out who is open.
Not a lot of time to find that open man. Here it is, first down. Dean Jones back in the game, doing what he does best. Jones on the run. But he's finally hauled down by Pulowski, but not before he gets inside the Saskatchewan 40. So another big gain on the ground for SMU.
I tell you, when he's running full speed, it looks like a lot of other people are going in slow motion. I mean, he is so quick and fast. And, you know, all good running backs, when they get up to the corner, you know, he just uses that stiff arm and he gets up. Just a real nice run by Dean Jones. Really good block right there. On the edge.
First down, Vanilla. Passing. Wide open man! No! Thrown in behind the intended receiver, Paul Fleming. Would have been a great catch had he hung on. It was in behind him, but he was in the clear, Jamie.
Right down the seam in between the safety and the corner. Pinella's under a lot of pressure here. Somebody right in his face. But those are the kind of catches he usually comes up with and St. Mary's usually make. He's saying, hey, I stood in there, I took the rush, and now you got to catch those. Steve Pinella, another one of those Brampton players in the St. Mary's team.
Got a shotgun now in second down. Under pressure now, and they have him. Taken down, Matt Lammerding. Lyndon Rush was there as well.
Well, this Saskatchewan team came into during the regular season, had 24 sacks, so this is a team that can put pressure on you. And you see they have a bit of a mismatch. So they have Lammerding being blocked by Dean Jones. Dave Stalla running down the field. I believe the time he came up, and I think Pinella was sacked. But that was a mismatch there. You can't have a defensive Dean Jones blocking a defensive lineman. It's just not going to happen. You're going to lose if you do that.
So it's an interesting turn of events. Saskatchewan's defense has been solidifying. And they got a good break here. Stalla tries to get it away. He can't. And here comes Rush. Rush. Rushing to the end zone. Will he get in? Loses the ball at the goal line. Touchdown, Saskatchewan.
Wow.
You will not see a more bizarre play than that. On what's supposed to be a routine punt for St. Mary's, turns into a Saskatchewan touchdown, a convert shy of tying this Vanier Cup.
It gets blocked here. You know, Stalla has some trouble with it, and Lyndon Rush takes it. Stalla gets back up, and he does a great job here with his left hand as he punches it out just before he goes across. That's a fumble. The ball had gone out of bounds. It would have been a safety.
And it's Lambden. Number 24, Brett Lambden, who gets the touchdown for U of S.
And I'll tell you what, a heads-up play by Lambden to make sure that he was not out of bounds when he got the football.
Brett Charnota with the convert. Rush down to the goal line, punched out at the 1. Brett Lambden with the touchdown. We got a new game, 16-14, St. Mary's.
What if General Motors hadn't introduced the airbag? Or safety glass in all windows? What if GM hadn't invented the side door beam? Or the modern crash test dummy? What if GM hadn't invented today's concrete highway divider? Would you still feel safe getting into a car?
As the world's largest automobile maker, we're not only committed to improving our cars, we're committed to improving all cars.
It's become a holiday tradition. Swiss Chalet's Festive Special. Our famous rotisserie chicken, stuffing, cranberry sauce. And our Festive Special comes with 5 Lindor chocolate truffles. Comfort and joy, and the best of the season. And here's a tasty gift idea. Give Swiss Chalet's new gift card. And give the gift of Swiss Chalet.
In the year 2020, a creature smarter than man will be awakened. Critics call Reign of Fire loads of fun. Thumbs up.
Get ready to rock and roll!
Own the DVD of the sight and sound experience that will blow you away. Packed with bonus features. Reign of Fire. Now available on DVD and video.
Well, Dave Stalo is back going to punt the ball, but take a look at his head. He looks up here right now before he secures the football. Now he's in trouble. He looks up, he thinks he's going to run. Now he tries to kick it. It gets blocked. Lyndon Rush ends up picking it up, and Stala heads up, though, goes down the field and tries to punch it out. But nonetheless, Saskatchewan scored the touchdown, and we got ourselves a football game.
We sure do. Number 37, Ryland McCulchuk was the one who blocked it, and that man picked it up. Lyndon Rush took it down, nearly had the touchdown. Shades of Leon Lett and Don Beebe in a Super Bowl several years ago, Dallas and Buffalo, when it looked like Leon Lett had the touchdown and Beebe punched it away. That time, at least, Saskatchewan did get the touchdown. Brett Lambden falling in the ball in the end zone. So U of S trails only by that safety, the 2 points on the previous drive, and they've got St. Mary's reeling a bit here.
Boy, that was a mistake by Gabe Harvey. The ball is going out of bounds, and he catches it. And he steps right out of bounds with his right foot right there. He's out. I mean, that was a perfect spot kick. If the receiver catches it, as Gabe Harvey did. If not, St. Mary's would have scrimmaged it on the 40. So you're looking at a switch of about 25 yards.
Down to Saskatchewan sideline. Kevin Waugh. Kevin?
Well, what a play. Ryland McCulchuk blocked it. Rush picked it up. You finished it off, big guy.
I was happy to be in the right split at the right time, I guess.
Your first career touchdown.
That's right.
Were you aware of the play? Were you aware that the ball was fumbled?
Yeah, I saw him knock it out. Just lucky to jump on it. Stay in bounds.
All right, there you go. Brett Lambden.
And more from Rush back on there. Thank you, Kevin. That Saskatchewan defense is fired up. On the last 2 St. Mary's possessions, they've forced SMU to punt the ball away. You can really feel the momentum swings here in this game after a great start by the St. Mary's Huskies.
You feel the confidence level. Dave Stalo takes his left hand and punches the ball out. Now the ball does not go out of bounds, but this is very close here because where does he have control of the football? Was he out of bounds or not? But the official said, no, touchdown.
Loss of a yard on that first down. They run a draw. The draw to Dean Jones does not gain enough. It'll be 3rd down, and St. Mary's, Stalo will be coming back on to punt it from around his goal line, and he got it up to around the 15.
Boy, Tyson Craig does a real nice job of sniffing out the draw. You know, he's playing in the inside linebacker spot. And boy, when he saw Dean Jones get it, he slid right over and made a nice tackle. This Husky defense is gaining confidence by the minute.
But good field position for Sheldon Ball to go to work with that Saskatchewan offense. Ball started the season injured after off-season shoulder surgery, and he spoke before this game about how difficult it has been to get back in.
Last year, I compensated for pain a little bit, and I got into bad habits. So, I had to actually relearn how to throw. And, the second part of it was getting over the mental aspect of, wondering if you can take a hit, if your shoulder's going to last. And, the last 6, 7 weeks, I haven't thought about it at all.
Ron, I think that's the most difficult part. Is he said, my confidence level, whether or not I could take a hit or not, and it took him a little while to get it back, but he certainly has his confidence back now.
He should now. His team, once trailing by 14, trailing only by 2. On that handoff, making the most of it is Stevens, who bounces off a tackle and picks up about 8 yards for U of S.
They use Tyler Seawack and David Stevens. They interchange them a lot this year, and they're both on the field right now. But Stevens, he came into this game with 442 yards rushing, a very good average, 7.2. Not very tall. He's similar to Dean Jones. He's 5'9", 185.
And they rotate them in and out. Stevens is out. Seawack is in this game. Piercy, the fullback. Short yardage. Piercy, but it goes incomplete.
Well, that's one I'm sure that Sheldon Ball would like to have back, because Piercy is open in the flat and he knows it. Would have had the first down and more. Joe Bonaventura had tried to pick him up there in man coverage. Play action pass. Bonaventura, the middle linebacker, tries to pick him up, and you can see that shoulder. He's a left-handed quarterback and he's throwing to the right. That's tough enough. But you can see that shoulder, he just doesn't seem to have the kind of range of motion that, most quarterbacks do. And we really haven't seen him throw the ball long at all today.
So Saskatchewan to be punting this time. Charnota back at his 46 to get it away. 7:21 on the clock. About midway through the second quarter, it's become a very entertaining ball game. Looks like a fake. It is a fake. And they don't get close enough to the first down. It looks like
it's a direct snap to
Piercy, but he did not get the first down. So the ball is spotted right at the 45, St. Mary's football.
Boy. Piercy's one of the up-backs. They snap the ball directly. Actually, they don't snap it to him. The center just lifts it up, and then he just comes up and takes it like he's a quarterback from behind. They try to draw St. Mary's with the 2 up-backs going to the left, and then Piercy just kind of came in and took the ball, but St. Mary's sniffed it out.
So a good turn of events for St. Mary's now. A 2-point lead, ball at their 45. Just under 7 minutes to go until halftime. Handing off to Dean Jones, who scoots his way into the hole and picks up about 5 yards up across the 50.
If I were Blake Nill or Steve Samara at St. Mary's, I think I'd just continue to run Dean Jones, Dean Jones, Dean Jones. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's inside, outside. He always seems to get 5, 6 yards at least. Big offensive line and big and experienced. 4 of them started last year in the Vanier Cup. The only one they did not is Paul Archer. He's in his 4th year.
Jones is clearly the feature back now. Last year it was Luis Perez, the #1 rusher in Canada.
Nice job.
Comes down low to Curry. Jason Curry gets the first down for St. Mary's up across midfield just into Saskatchewan territory.
Quickly 3-step drop, but he knows where he's going with this football right away. He's just kind of looking a guy off so that Curry can get open. Nice job by Curry to get his hands underneath, keep this drive alive for St. Mary's.
Spotted at the 54. Sask. Lots of time. Stepping up, looking, finding a receiver wide open. Another first down. It's Olaf Tomiak with his first catch of this Vanier Cup.
That was a nice, sorry, Rod, that was a nice job by Tomiak, because he knows his quarterback's in trouble, and he goes and he sits in the hole. Tomiak's lined up at number 20 outside. He's running out, but now you see he comes inside in the hole, and he just sits there and he waits. He sits in the hole, waits for the quarterback to find him. Good heads-up play by Tomiak and Steve Piniella.
Gets it down to the Saskatchewan 40. It's about 3. Dean Jones has had a complete game in less than a half of football. That was the first quarter touchdown to give St. Mary's the 7-0 lead. And he's had a lot more yardage on the ground and through the air as well. He had over 100 yards total offense before the quarter was even done. 166 yards rushing last weekend in Hamilton. Player of the game of the Jewett Trophy, the Atlantic Championship the week before against St. FX. Dropping at that time, though, and taking a little added shot from Tyson Craigs as well. Falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd down.
But they're trying to run that same play that they scored on earlier, bringing Dean Jones across. But you know what? The pass rush was there. This pass is not meant to be completed out here, just a couple of yards from the sidelines. It's supposed to be completed inside. But they got the rush into Pinello's face. Couldn't throw it when he wanted to throw it. Held on to it a little bit too long, and St. Mary's are punting.
What would have been about a 45-yard field goal try. Dave Stalla's longest field goal during the regular season was 35. Doesn't have that much of a range, although his percentage was good during the season, but better to punt now as he stands close to midfield.
Right, he tried to between 40 and 49 and missed both of them, so they're just content to have him punt.
Low driving punt to the Saskatchewan end zone, rolls in. Graham Bell finally picks it up about 10 yards deep, tries to run it out. All he has to do is get it out, and they get a position at the 20-yard line.
That's correct, and I think what Dave Stalla was trying to do was kick it so it would go out of bounds inside the 1, because he knows once it goes in the end zone, and he comes back out, the ball will go to the 20.
So the ball will come out thanks to the running here of Graham Bell. Just barely gets that. Saskatchewan trailing by 2 in the 30th Vanier Cup.
No, I gotta call you back. Hello, Judith speaking.
Ring-a-ding-ding, Judy. Vegas here.
Las Vegas? How did you get this number?
Never mind that, Toots. What do you say you and me go hit the strip again tonight, huh?
I can't. I have to finish these employee evaluations.
Hey, baby, you can keep working, or you can start living. It's your choice.
But that'd be really wild.
Now there's the crazy dame I know.
Hi, Norm Abram here with tips for using Little Tykes Discover Sounds Workshop. With any quality workstation, it's a good idea to make as many silly noises as possible. I recommend the little green hammer. And safety is a must, so always wear your goggles and hard hat. If the job gets too big, don't hesitate to call your contractor. Little Tykes, for the way kids really play. Discover Sounds Workshop comes with all the fun you see here.
Batteries not included. Some adult assembly required.
From Academy Award winners James Cameron and Steven Soderbergh.
How did you get here?
Experience the most provocative love story of the year. George Clooney.
I can't leave her.
Solaris. Wednesday, only in theaters.
I would like to welcome this year's Russ Jackson Award winner, and would you please welcome with me from the University of Calgary, their quarterback, Lincoln Blumel. Lincoln, would you come forward?
A great student athlete. That was the scene yesterday. Lincoln Blumel is here today. He's standing by with Paul Hollingsworth. Paul?
Well, I guess the first question has to be your thoughts on winning such a prestigious award.
Oh, I'm truly honored. I think of all the great people that won in the past, and just to have my name associated with Russ Jackson is a real honor, and just happy they selected me this year.
How do you do it? Excellence on the football field, in the classroom, working in the community as a Scoutmaster as well. A pretty balanced but busy lifestyle.
Oh, definitely. It's really stressful at times, but you know, it's really rewarding. Not only playing football, but doing well in school and really working in the community. I feel like I have a debt to pay back with so many people that have helped me along in my career.
Your thoughts on Saskatchewan putting up quite a fight here? They were down early, now they're coming back, and we got ourselves a good football game.
They're a gritty team. I think don't count them out. It's going to be a good game.
Fifth year for you. What's up for you next year?
Right now I'm applying for doctoral schools for next year, so hopefully I'll be going somewhere in September 2003.
Well, congratulations and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Rod, back to you.
All right, thank you, Paul. What an impressive young athlete Lincoln Blumel is. Every year Russ Jackson comes up with these gems that humble you. with everything they do.
Absolutely, and you know the nice thing about Lincoln Blumel is a year ago he had an injury and he lost his season, and they went and they made they asked the CIS could he get his eligibility back, and so they said yes, and so he ended up playing this year, and it was great that he could come back and play.
And as Russ had pointed out yesterday, I think it's the first time he ever handed one out to a married player, the young child, the new father as well, Lincoln Blumel. So much on his plate, and he's done so well. We congratulate him for winning that award. It's Seawack, the ball carrier, and they move it along the ground, and then that second down, he has enough to move the sticks for Saskatchewan.
I tell you, Seawack is very quick because Cartier Shields, the halfback, was coming up, and it looked like he had him stopped, that he just sidesteps him. See the corner here, but right here. Nice cut back inside. You see Cartier Shields goes right by him. I mean, that's real good vision, seeing that coming and stepping away from it, getting the first down.
Gets the ball up near the 32 for U of S. Saskatchewan had trailed at one point 14-0 as they whistle in the 3-minute warning now until halftime, 2:57 on the clock. U of S was behind, but scored a touchdown, and then what really shifted the momentum after their defense held was a blocked punt. Return for a touchdown, actually fumbled at the line. Brett Lambert got the score. It's a 16-14 game, and there's Aaron David on the receiving end. But another U of S first down. The Huskies on this drive, Saskatchewan's version, would have a chance to take the lead.
You know, when you think of this first half and they were down 14-0, it's almost this half is a microcosm of their season when you think about it. I mean, down early, no one's giving them much of a chance, and then bang, all of a sudden, hey, they're back in the thick of things. And, you know, we talked about earlier, hey, you underestimate us, you'll lose. And, you know, I think St. Mary's maybe the very beginning, after they scored those two quick ones, you're thinking, you know what, we might have our second Vanier Cup in a row, and it's way too early to be thinking that.
And that's a good point, but given the respect that Blake Neal has for Brian Towers, you can't imagine from his point of view that could happen. Might be with the players, but you know, Blake Neal knows what Brian Towers is all about. Well, they go left, and Seawack had a hole, and he went right through it and got across midfield. Great gain on the ground. Not down until Cartier Shields takes him down at the St. Mary's 52.
You know, Saskatchewan are just winning that battle up front right now. Their offensive line is doing a great job. They run that counter here. They pull both right guard and tackle. That's Olenek and McLean. Then they pull McLean through. Really nice job here. Seal down, come back. And once I tell you, once you get the big guy, number 67, McLean, onto number 25, Cartier Shields, you got a big mismatch here. 295 versus 195. I think the big guy is going to win that one.
He did win that, although to his credit, Shields turned around and eventually was able to haul Seawack down on the toss now. It's Stevens. Back and forth they go. Seawack and Stevens has another Saskatchewan first down inside the St. Mary's 40. It's getting loud down there, Jamie.
You can hear it all the way up here. Real nice job at David Stevens, too, to switch the ball. You see at the end there, he switched it, put it in his left hand when he's running left. But, you know, one thing I must say, too, is that Chad Rempel, you know, you take a look at a wide receiver and they want to go down and catch a lot of passes, but, you know, sometimes you don't see them. He is doing a great job of blocking.
Another first down, Saskatchewan. Down only by 2. Dumping it off. Piercy. Close to another first down. I believe he's had it. Inside, we're down to the 31, so very close to it. It'll be about 2nd and 1, even less than, where he goes out of bounds.
Yeah, this play-action pass is really starting to be effective for Saskatchewan. It's really starting to hold those linebackers. And I see Joe Bonaventura's got him on man coverage. Got Jeff Piercy in man coverage, but, you know, he sees the run coming. It freezes him just for a second, and then Piercy can get outside into the flat.
It is 2nd down, less than 1. Around field goal range now. Range of taking the lead for the first time in this Vanier Cup, Saskatchewan football. And on that 2nd down, it is Stevens. First down easily to the 26. The drive continues. 1:58 on the clock until halftime. And oh, what it would do for Saskatchewan to head to the locker room with a lead. The way this game started for them.
You know, I think Brian Towers has to be very happy at how physically now they are starting to assert themselves. Take a look at the rushing yards. It was initially all St. Mary's, but now Saskatchewan only 12 yards away.
Split hammer! Split hammer! First down. Making the toss. coverage there from Jeff Moody.
Piercy.
Brian Tower is sent at number 3, Nathan Hofford.
And then they take Jeff Piercy out, the fullback. Brian Towers remarked to us that, you know, it hasn't been pretty for us the way we've been winning. And, you know, that stat of Sheldon Ball 5 of 11, it might not look pretty, but you know what, it certainly is effective.
Timeout called by Sheldon Ball. 1:33 on the clock. A very important down, obviously, trailing by 2 late in this first half. Who's the top dog? We're not even halfway to finding out. We've got a game here at Skydo.
When a 5-star sign goes up at your Chrysler Jeep Dodge dealership, it isn't because head office said so, or because we're going for a new look. It's because people like you, our customers, have given us the highest marks possible. Because satisfying customers is the only way a dealership gets to be a 5-star dealership. 5-star. It's better. We'll prove it.
For 6 extreme athletes, the greatest danger will not be the stunts they've planned, but the terrorists they've discovered.
I'm not leaving until they are dead.
This Wednesday,
Shoot! Go, 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 go!
they can't stop the unthinkable. Unless they live to tell the world. Extreme Ops starts this Wednesday in theaters everywhere.
I'll have your steak and cheese with some of that Southwest sauce.
2 classic BMTs and put sweet onion sauce on hers.
She's so sweet.
Can I please have a roast beef with Dijon horseradish?
Subway Club with hot peppers, because we like it hot.
At Subway, every sandwich is customized just the way you want, with your choice of delicious deli meats, toppings, sauces, all on fresh baked breads. It can be complicated, just give me what they're having. Or simple, it's up to you.
Subway, eat fresh!
SMU holding on to a 2-point lead as we go down to the Saskatchewan sideline and Kevin Waugh. Kevin.
Steve Letwin with me, Group Vice President of Enbridge. Steve, it's your 3rd year, a major sponsor here at the Vanier Cup. Your company's brought a lot to the table.
Well, thank you for saying that. We believe we have, and we are very proud to be sponsors of this great event, a great game. I have to say we're probably rooting for those Saskatchewan team, given that we're from the West. I want to say hi to all our friends and supporters in Calgary. Pat Daniel, my boss, who was instrumental in letting us move this ahead and support it another year.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, back upstairs.
Thanks, Kevin, and thanks to Enbridge for the support of the Vanier Cup. A great Vanier it's been so far. A close game, a 2-point game. Saskatchewan looking for a lead down inside the 5. Holford. It's not pretty at all, but they'll take it.
Sheldon Ball is on the ground. Boy, this takes tremendous courage for Sheldon Ball to stand in here. He knows he's got the blitz coming right up the middle. Seawack picks it up, but he gets hammered. Hangs the ball out here. We talked about his arm. And Watson almost knocks it away. But it just drops in between all the defenders. Sheldon Ball getting rid of it, and then he pays for it. It's interesting how when a quarterback, you know, even though he's down, looks like he's hurt, you're still looking to see whether the pass is completed or not.
It's always easier to get up, I assume, when the receiver catches it, as Nathan Hopper did. This time, another timeout is called. St. Mary's in a critical situation late in the half. Nathan Hofford on the catch inside the 5 as Sean Mifflin comes to talk it over with Blake Nill. All your news, your scores, your highlights, you know where to get it. Sports Center on TSN, the next edition. 10 o'clock with Jay Onright and David Amber. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific time. Of course, you'll be hearing from Edmonton as well, and our crew there getting set for the Grey Cup tomorrow. We'll have more analysis coming up.
So we got to go 39 pitch.
Sports Center tonight.
And then we'll go slot back, cross back, flat, I think. And a high. It's not eye to eye. If we don't get it, why? What's the difference, Mike? Yeah. Or front side stuff. Oh, I know what he's saying. No, let's
want to take the lead. It's another thing you want to prevent the other team from getting back down the field and getting any more points as well. They're thinking clock, too.
That's right. That's why they're going to run the ball here. Looks like they're going to run toss here to the left-hand side. If you look standing right beside or Brian Towers, there was Fred Schneider, the offensive coordinator, or actually the quarterback coach. This play should go left. It's 39 toss.
You heard the call on the first and goal. Saskatchewan, 1:07 on the clock. Goes right. The toss. The Saskatchewan Huskies have their first lead of this Vanier Cup.
Well, we had the toss part right, but it went right instead of left, and David Stevens takes it in for 6 points. Doing a great job of sealing that corner. Toss out here. Good block by Tyler Seawack at the point of attack.
David Stevens with the Saskatchewan touchdown. Jornada with the convert. And 1:01 shows on the clock. So much for killing time, but who cares? If you're a Saskatchewan fan, they got in the end zone. And once down 14-0, U of S leads St. Mary's 21-16.
Another look, a good job by Tyler Seawack playing fullback in that play. Enables David Stevens to get in. Jeff Moody, the AUS All-Star, outside. Made the big play last week, but not this week. Tyler Seawack gets a piece of him, and David Stevens gets into the end zone. Out of Brian Towers' old school, Peacock in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
It's an interesting scenario for St. Mary's to take to the locker room at the half. So rarely in the last 2 years has this team been challenged. Gabe Harvey on the return up across the 33. Once again down to Kevin Waugh.
21-16, David Stevens takes it in. Nathan Hofford made the catch at the 3. You guys are starting to run.
Oh yeah, that was a big catch by Nate, and then we're down there. No way I was getting stopped on that one. My adrenaline was pumping hard, but we came out a little flat. They're a good team. They got that running back running around the end there, but we made some adjustments, shut them down, and hopefully we can continue this into the second half.
54 seconds left, gentlemen.
Yes, Kevin, a 10-play, 90-yard drive. Saskatchewan has had some long, impressive drives, and that one gives them the lead. But one thing about St. Mary's offense, they can hit quickly. They did against McMaster last week in the Churchill Bowl. Looking to hit quickly here. This one over the middle, though, to Curry. With defenders back a bit, he gets it up to the 40 in a gain of about 7.
Well, St. Mary's aren't content to run the clock out at halftime. They always see every opportunity when they're in offense as a chance to score. Steve Pinella not huddling up.
46 on the clock. What looked to be total St. Mary's domination early in this game with a 14-0 lead is turned into Saskatchewan's game. And a 5-point lead. Pinella on the run for the first down and gets it up across the 45 to about the 47. 30 ticks now on the clock here at Skydome.
You know, Saskatchewan is doing a very good job of taking away Steve Pinella's first read, and they're forcing him to kind of go to number 2 and number 3. And you know, he's not used to that because it's usually the first read for him has been there all year, and makes a big difference when you come off of that.
Out of the shotgun. 20 seconds on the clock. Pressure. Pinella. Deeper. Sidelines. He caught it. They're saying it's a catch.
It's a great catch and a great throw.
Fleming on the receiving end down at the 31. Saskatchewan with 10 seconds on the clock.
Real nice job of keeping your feet in there. You only need 1, but he's got 2. What a great catch by Paul Fleming. Now, I think to be effectively within Dave Stalla's range, they need another 5 or 6 yards to give him a chance at a field goal.
His best in the regular season was 35, so you're right. At the 31 now. But before thinking about that, either looking for the 7 yards or looking for the end zone. They want the end zone, and they have it. Touchdown, St. Mary's and Dave Stella.
Saskatchewan was concerned about the time, where there was a minute left on the clock. Brian Towers knows this. St. Mary's team can score instantly. Real nice job by Pinella. Puts the ball up right into the seam, and then Dave Stala. Bring Fleming inside. Stala runs straight down the seam. Wow. Steve Pinella is a bit excited. He's got a right to be. That was it. Very well executed 2-minute drill.
They had to strike quickly. Boy, did they ever. The convert from Stala, who scored the touchdown. 4 seconds on the clock, and the lead has changed hands again. St. Mary's has it back. 23-21.
Should just cover this.
The final score in the Huskies Vanier in 1990 was 24-21 for Saskatchewan.
That was one of the all-time great games.
And I should point out in that game, it was Saskatchewan that took the 14-0 lead. St. Mary's came back to tie it. And ultimately, it was Saskatchewan hanging on in that game. Chris Flynn's last for St. Mary's, breaking their hearts.
But it's interesting, you know, we did St. Mary's a week ago in the Churchill Bowl, and we always felt that, you know, how this team responds when it's threatened. And, you know, we saw them last week when they were threatened. Bang, they scored in about a minute, went right down the field and scored and took the lead from that point on. And now Blake Neal's team feels threatened again, and they come right back and score. I mean, really a testament to how much they believe in themselves. I think by my calculations, Saskatchewan held the lead for about 56 seconds.
And you hearken back to that conversation, Brent Schneider, Blake Neal, or excuse me, Brian Towers talking about killing the clock. And you're thinking when they're down at the 3 with about a minute to go, why is it so important? Especially when they hadn't gotten in. They got in for the touchdown, and then watch St. Mary's answer back. 4 plays, 78 yards, and most importantly, only 54 seconds taken off the clock. What a game we have had so far. And we're only halfway through it. At the half of the 38th Vanier Cup, St. Mary's has the lead again, but just barely. 23-21. Still anybody's game as they head to the locker room. Now let's go down to Paul Hollingsworth at the St. Mary's sideline with Blake Neal. Paul?
Coach Neal, we get ourselves a football game here. Entertaining first half.
Yeah, just like we thought. You know, we knew it was going to be a tight ball game. It's too bad we gave up that one on special teams, but you know, our offense came back, bailed the team out, and it's good to be going into with the lead.
You said this week any team coached by Coach Towers is a tough team to beat after a 14-0 lead. Of course, they've proven that here. This is a very close football game.
Oh, for sure. You know, he's the class of the league, and we're going to have our work cut out for us. Hopefully, we can eliminate the mistakes we've had in the second half and figure out how to stop that outside attack they're running on us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Paul.
Back to you, Rod.
That's the difference right there, the safety. And a big play there by Piercy, a big one in special teams for U of S. But St. Mary's comes back ultimately to take the lead. At the half of the Vanier Cup, SMU leads it 23-21.
Hundreds of movies a month in one box, plus free installation from Bell Express View.
I thought dating again would be tough.
He's cute. Is he younger than me?
Just for Men hair color. The Rejuvenator. Gets rid of gray hair in 5 easy minutes. For a younger, natural look.
Would you like to come in?
Just for men.
How does your gray beard or mustache reflect on you?
Man, I look old.
Get new vitamin-enriched Just for Men gel. The Rejuvenator. Specially made to penetrate coarse gray in 5 minutes and match your hair. The Rejuvenator. Just for Men gel.
Dave Stala with the go-ahead touchdown late in the half, only 4 seconds left, put St. Mary's back in the lead at the half of the 38th Vanier Cup, leading the University of Saskatchewan. Huskies versus Huskies, and it's coming as advertised between two great programs at the half here at Skydome. Well, the one they all want is the Vanier Cup, but as part of Vanier Cup week, there are many other honors to go around. Individual player honors, the All-Canadians, and all those other awards that were handed out a couple of nights ago. Have a look. The Liberty Grand Entertainment Complex was the site for the 2002 Enbridge All-Canadian Awards dinner on Thursday night. The Peter Gorman Trophy, recognizing the nation's top rookie, was awarded to wide receiver Andy Fantuz from the University of Western Ontario.
I can't even put it into words. It's just being picked CIS Rookie of the Year is just the best honor I could imagine for a first-year player, but especially with all the other good nominees and especially with all the other ones from Ontario that weren't up here today.
Next up, the President's Trophy, given to the top defensive player in the CIS. This year's recipient, linebacker Adam McDonald from St. FX.
It was a nice way, it not only finished the season, but finished my career as a football player in the CIS. I was pretty pumped. I was pretty happy about it. I think it not only shows how well I did this season, but also shows how well the team as a defense did this season.
The J.P. Metras Trophy, awarded to the nation's top lineman, was won by defensive tackle Israeli Donijay from the University of Manitoba Bisons.
It feels great. I've worked really hard, but a lot of people have helped me along the way. Like, you know, I've been at Manitoba since I was 17, and I've been coached and helped, especially by other players, and that's a big part of my success.
And finally, the Heck Crichton Trophy, recognizing the league's most outstanding player. It was awarded to quarterback Tom Dennison of the Queen's University Golden Gales.
Standing in front of everybody today and accepting this award was something that I'll never forget, but it's something that I want to share with my entire football team, because without them, we wouldn't have had the success that we did this year. And you know, when I get back to Kingston, there's a lot of phone calls I'm going to make and thank a lot of people, because, like I said, without them, this award wouldn't have been achieved.
And one of the three people you're looking at right now never won a Heck Crichton Trophy. You take a guess who it is. The 1978 winner, Jamie Bone, and the 2002 winner from the Queen's Golden Gales, Tommy Dennison. Congratulations. Just to think about what you've done, passing Dan Faraday and also Greg Vavra of Calgary for 3,000 yards. You must be so proud of that accomplishment this year.
Yeah, those were terrific passers themselves, and I think the big thing this year is we had a great team effort, and I credit our football team with a lot of what we accomplished this year in terms of passing yardage. You know, it can't be one person that gets the credit in a situation like this. We had a great group of receivers, a great offensive line that did a great job for us for all year, and then running backs who could both block and receive the football. So it was great, great offensive effort.
Tommy, winning the Heck Crichton, meant a lot to me. I just want to know, what does it mean to you?
Well, it's one of those things that I think it's important for me as an individual, and you know, just take that step to the next level as a good football player. But you know, I really want to share this award with our football team, because you know, what their effort, both offensively, defensively, and on special teams, meant a whole lot to our football team, and I really want to make this award a team award this year.
Tommy, congratulations. A wonderful season. I know you'd rather be here. Any Heck Crichton Trophy winner would say that, but good luck to you in the future as well.
Thanks for having me up here, guys.
Okay, Tommy Dennison, the 2002 Heck Crichton winner, the top player in the CIS this year, and a look at the recent list and what a fine list it is. Before him, a couple from Mac and Chapdelaine and Kojo Adu, and a guy who ended up winning a Vanier as well, Phil Cote as well. Joining the long list of greats, Tommy Dennison of Queens at the half. Here at Skydome, we'll be back with more on the 38th Vanier Cup, with St. Mary's leading Saskatchewan by 2.
This update is brought to you by Seiko. Forward-thinking technology in every watch.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the TSA Newsroom. I'm Corey Warren. We'll get you back to the Vanier Cup shortly, but first, the CFL has called a news conference for 6 o'clock Eastern Time, where it's expected that former Adidas Canada executive Tom Wright will be named the new commissioner of the CFL. Elsewhere in the world of sports, NHL, Islanders and Rangers, third period, tied at 1. Alexi Yashin circles, falls, but he gets it to Brad Isbister, who goes 5-hole. The Isles would add one more, and they take it by a final count of 3-2. Staying with the NHL, 12 games on tap tonight, including the Flyers and Maple Leafs, where Ed Belfour will go head-to-head for the first time against his former coach, Ken Hitchcock. Elsewhere, U.S. college football, second-ranked Ohio State finished their season undefeated with a 14-9 win over Michigan. They will likely secure a trip to the national title game. More from the Vanier after this.
Recently, at Hamilton Beach, Dr. Ted Birdiak wanted a better way to fight odors. Unsatisfied with air fresheners that only mask odors, the doctor had a breakthrough and created True Air. Day and night, it fought the worst area odors. Tobacco, cat litter, even stinky kitchen. With True Air's revolutionary odor cleaning system. Why was the doctor so obsessed? We may never know. New True Air from Hamilton Beach. Inhales odors so you don't have to.
The University of Saskatchewan. Visionaries in research and technology. The University of Saskatchewan. Home to Canada's largest ever scientific project. The University of Saskatchewan. Distinguished scientists, world leaders, literary scholars, and champions of the Vanier Cup. University of Saskatchewan. Our people, our strengths.
Here's a look at the first team All-Canadians in the CIS this year. We just saw Tommy Dennison with us, but of note, how few from St. Mary's or Saskatchewan on this list.
You know, there were some great individual performances. Andy Fan, who's only a rookie, you know, broke Don Blair's record for most yards receiving. Kyle Peer at over 1,200 yards rushing.
See Dean Jones there from St. Mary's, the only one in this game today on that list. But Francois Boulian, another great year with Laval. And Jamie Bourne, we saw him last year at the Vanier Cup with Manitoba.
Right, really an exceptional devotion and defensive side of the ball. Israel O'Donoghue, we saw him for the first time last year as well on the Vanier Cup. And boy, what a player he is. He was also the President's Trophy winner as well.
Yeah, Adam McDonald, a major award winner too. Ray Marius, boy, McMaster missed him last week defensively against St. Mary's in the Churchill Bowl.
And a real dynamite player, Richard Carey from St. Avexi, cornerback, did everything for them. Punt returns, played corner. I mean, he was an exceptional football player.
Those are the All-Canadians, and you know what? I don't think Saskatchewan or St. Mary's really care right now that they're not on that list. They want to be on the list of the national champions. And boy, what a game we have going right now. Surprised the way Saskatchewan has come back after St. Mary's really took that initiative.
Well, St. Mary's had the lead, and we said it was kind of like a microcosm of their season, but St. Mary's did a really good job right off the bat. We talked about Pinella throwing the ball. They catch Dean Jones in a crossing pattern, and just look at the body control that he has, and he takes it in the end zone for St. Mary's first score. Then Billy Robinson, the old tap and go down the goal line. There's no signals given, audible signals given. Take it in, they have a 14-0 lead.
Well, that made it 14-0, but Sheldon Ball leads them right back. And then with that play, they get on the board.
And just a really nice little toss over to Chad Rempel, who they're glad to have back in their lineup.
Okay, but unfortunately, they gave some points away here as Ball waited too long, and they caught him for the safety to make it a 16-7 game. But this is the most bizarre play I've seen in a while.
And this is where really I think the game kind of changed in the second quarter. I mean, they blocked Dave Stala's punt. Lyndon Rush picks it up. He's going into the end zone. Stala does a great heads-up play of knocking the ball away.
And it's Brett Lampton who picks it up. And then marching right back after Saskatchewan had gone ahead. Look what St. Mary's did.
Just incredible. You know, you thought that St. Mary's were kind of out of it there, maybe content to go in at halftime down. No way. They're coming back.
That's a 2-point lead, and the stats, boy, we have ourselves a ball game, don't we? It was all SMU early on, but not as much this time around.
Well, the rushing yards, I think Saskatchewan have really got their game going. They're doing a very good job on their offensive line and really starting to assert themselves physically.
23-21, the most important numbers to talk about right now at the half. It's anybody's game in this meeting of Huskies. You know, you talk about the experience factor as well. Brian Towris has it, even though his players do not have it. I think that has to matter a lot in this game.
I think it matters a great deal. I think earlier this week he said to his team, you know, they might not have been here for a while, but you know what? We have. And so we told our players, hey, your coaching staff has great experience in this game. Just follow us around. Take the cues from us and you'll be okay.
And Blake Nell has the experience too. Not as much as Brian Towris, has a lot of respect for him, and I'm sure is telling his players, no matter what happens in this third quarter, even disregard that drive. You cannot take Saskatchewan lightly.
And I don't think Blake Nell has taken Saskatchewan lightly. And maybe his players did when they were up 14-0, but, you know, we said earlier, if you underestimate Saskatchewan, you're going to lose. And I'll tell you, I think they had a big wake-up call there. But you know what? To St. Mary's credit, they did respond back when it looked like things were going their way.
Well, coaches don't like the close games, but we sure do here. Go Huskies! That's all we can say right now. Both Huskies teams have been going, especially this guy, the All-Canadian Dean Jones in the first half. He was injured for a while. He's had some great runs, just like last week and the week before. A star for SMU getting down near the end zone there. Dean Jones and St. Mary's leading by the slimmest of margins, 2 points with the second half coming up on TSN.
Europe, 1944. Rocks, trees, and rivers. When a bridge was needed, they were the ones who made it. Some people said they were paving a road to victory.
Did you know that Saskatchewan has nearly 100,000 lakes?
Perch, trout, grayling, shark. Okay, maybe I'm stretching it.
Saskatchewan has
one of the world's best T-Rex skeletons.
He's called Scotty. Wanna skate with? Really good Saskatchewan pie.
And the friendliest people you'll find anywhere.
Join the most unlikely group of heroes.
Okay, check for poop.
Hey, why am I the poop checker?
As they discover friendship.
I can kiss you. Yuck.
Excitement. And extreme adventure.
Eat my powder.
Ray Romano.
Don't make me reach back there.
John Leguizamo.
Well, he started it.
I don't care who started it. I'll finish it.
Dennis Leary.
I actually thought you were going to eat me.
I don't eat junk food.
And Scrap. Be the first to own Ice Age. On DVD and video November 26th.
It's Wood Pro bonus time at a steel dealer near you. Steel, built to last, priced to sell.
So what'd this one do?
Let's just say it's what it didn't do. Capiche?
Inefficient business machine? Discover Brother Workgroup Solutions and put the hit on inefficiency.
You gonna eat that?
Hundreds of movies a month in one box, plus free installation. Hundreds of movies a month in one box, plus free installation from Bell Express View.
This year, students on 13 campuses coast to coast are participating in an entertaining intramural sport with a chance to win a $10,000 scholarship for their school through the Bud NFL Campus Flag Football League. As part of the NFL's continued commitment to supporting grassroots football in Canada, the NFL and Budweiser are teaming up to award $10,000 to the national championship of the Bud NFL Campus Flag Football League. The league, in its third year, consists of teams of 10 players on 13 Canadian university campuses participating in intramural flag football. Top teams win all expense-paid trips to Toronto to take part in a 4-team playoff to determine the championship during Vanier Cup festivities November 23rd at Skydome. This fall, 186 intramural flag football teams at 13 Canadian university campuses are taking part in the Bud NFL Campus Flag Football League. Each team, made up of students 19 years of age or older, receives authentic NFL team jerseys, NFL Wilson footballs, player flags, and side posts. Check out www.budweiser.ca or www.nflcanada.com for more league details. From flag football to the tackle variety. A lot of hitting going on in a 2-point St. Mary's lead. Down to Kevin Watt, Saskatchewan sideline.
That's right. We have Brian Towers with us right now. 23-21 the score, Brian. I guess you would take it knowing back in the first quarter you were down pretty bad, 14-0.
Yeah, and we're resilient and battled back. We got a big play on special teams to get us back in it, and
We played pretty well since. We got our running game going a little bit, and right now I don't think there's a whole lot of momentum. It would have been nice to keep him out of the end zone at the end, but hey, we're happy.
Stack up between Ball and his counterpart Steve Piniella, Jamie.
Oh, Steve Piniella's having a pretty good half. I mean, it's 71%, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's, for some quarterback, that's a full day's work. Sheldon Ball, though, did get on track in the second quarter, completing 50% of his passes for 85 yards, and of course that touchdown pass to Chad Rempel.
Of course, Bill Robinson, a factor at quarterback as well. He scored a touchdown in those short yardage situations coming on for St. Mary's. It's an interesting dynamic mentally in terms of momentum, because Saskatchewan has looked really good in the second quarter. They got the touchdown. They took the lead, although they gave up that late one. How do you assess momentum heading into the locker room?
I think that you lost the momentum. I mean, they had it for 54 seconds.
And yet after the midway point of the first quarter, U of S has been the better team as this second half begins. Graham Bell on the kick return at his 25. 30 minutes to play, just under now. And this is shaping up as a great Vanier Cup so far. A 2-point lead. We've had some close ones over the years, including the previous Husky meeting 12 years ago. There was a 3-point game.
Oh, we got lead run.
It's funny when I see Chad Rempel go into the game, and of course he's wearing number 10. And I mean, there was a famous Husky that wore that number for many, many years. And
somebody, let's see, Farthing, wasn't it?
Dan Farthing, the first Vanier Cup that we did at TSN in 1989. He played in that game.
One of the great Saskatchewan produced football players was Dan Farthing, of course, going on to a nice career with the Saskatchewan Roughriders as well. A lot of great players coming out of that province. Many of them go on to play for the Saskatchewan Huskies. On the first down for Sheldon Ball, on the toss, Seawack. St. Mary's meeting him there. Bonaventura was there, so was Tim Burris and Tim McDonald. Short gain on first down.
Yeah, interesting now. St. Mary's are taking Bonaventura, and they're keeping him off the line of scrimmage now. Look at him slide across number 3. This is exactly how you want to play it at linebacker. Gets leverage, gets square up the field, and then makes the tackle. Earlier in the second quarter, he was really creeping up there and coming inside. He was getting cut off on his scrape or his flow over to the ball, but they backed him off a little bit now.
Ball up just ahead of the 28, but it's a second down and 9 for Saskatchewan. Fresh out of the locker room. Trailing by 2. Ball throws the ball. Completes it up at the 40. First down Saskatchewan. Jeff Piercy on the receiving end.
Took Jeff Piercy, and they just do a little circle route with him. He's from the left-hand side, right-hand side, and he comes inside, and Sebastian Clovis, linebacker, has to make the tackle. Sebastian Clovis, actually, they list him as a linebacker, but he's only 6'2", 200. He's kind of one of those tweener guys who plays defensive back as well. Transfer from Mississippi Valley State.
School Jerry Reisman. On the touch, this time it's Stevens. Another good gain on first down by David Stevens up near the 50, near another Saskatchewan first down.
You know, it really is right now Saskatchewan's ability to run the football that's opening up all that short little passing game as well. Here's Rempel coming down here again. You know, we talked about the wide receivers making the blocks. But there's a real good run here by David Stevens. When he gets around, he crosses the line of scrimmage with his shoulders square so he can cut back.
Play action! Check play action! Play action! Check play action!
Do you suppose they're concerned about play action?
I think so. It'd be a great time to run it too. Second and short.
SMU chanting it out. Mind the pass, even in the short yardage, but they keep it on the ground. And they only needed inches, and it looks like they have just enough on that carry to move the chains again. That's Jeff Piercy running the ball this time, and they do indeed have a first down. Saskatchewan Huskies on the move early in the second half.
Thanks, Tyler. No, Jeff.
It's interesting, you know, Saskatchewan does have quite a bit of depth on offense. You can see how many times they rotate people in and out. And, you know, throughout the game, especially being indoors when you haven't been indoors for a long time, and it's warmer in here, it's hotter, you get dehydrated very quickly. It's great to be able to rotate players through so they're fresh.
Up on the line, Saskatchewan, first and 10, near midfield, down by 2. Early second half. Wide open, Graham Bell. And he cuts back. He would have had a first down. He went back a couple of yards, so it'll be second down and short around the 50 of SMU.
Yeah, talk about how coaches always adapt their offenses to their players. And, you know, Saskatchewan has done a very good job of doing this with Sheldon Ball. He's not throwing the ball deep down the field at all. I mean, they're just kind of going down, finding those little holes about 8 and 10 yards down the field, and then he just gets set and dumps it off to them.
So once again, it's a second and short situation for U of S, and then once again, I'm sure St. Mary's will be mindful of the play-action pass. It's full backfield right now. And they do hand it off, and they do get another first down. Saskatchewan. Tyler Seawack, the ball carrier, and it looks like he has enough, although it might be close enough for a measurement. Looks like it's around the 48, spotted there, of SMU. This will be quite close. And they're calling them in.
I think he's got it.
I think so too. What a nice way to start this second half for Saskatchewan, trying to answer back after that late St. Mary's touchdown gave the Eastern Huskies the lead heading into the locker room. Stretch it out. Yes, they do, with the first down easily by a football at least. Drive continues in St. Mary's territory now at around the 48.
I think what has to concern Blake Neal right now is it's really first down effectiveness so far. On first down, they've been getting, you know, they've been finding themselves, St. Mary's facing second and short. And boy, does that ever change things when you can do a defense in second and short.
Long count again. Trying to set up the draw. SMU isn't buying it. There's a loss on the play. For Stevens. Nick Ancona, number 47, coming in and snuffing out that draw play.
It almost looks like when you run the draw here, it's like, no, I don't want it, you take it. I see 3 guys coming, and you're going to take it. Actually, David Stevens almost breaks away from that. But now this is a situation St. Mary's like to be in. All defenses like to be in this. But it'll be interesting to see now if Sheldon Ball goes with a long count again to try and stop St. Mary's from pinning their ears back and coming after them.
Let's see if St. Mary's is coming this time. On that loss, it's back to the SMU 52. Taking the handoff. Has time. Rolling out and wide open. Do they rule it a catch? Graham Bell, they say no. They wave it off. He was lying there waiting for it to come. He was certainly open. For 25, Graham Bell, the receiver, but no, they say no catch.
You know, this play shows me that how restricted Sheldon Ball is throwing the ball. I mean, now, Grant, he's a left-handed, he's going to his right, but, you know, he just had nothing on that football, and that was the good call by the official. The ball did hit the turf, but he was wide open. I mean, you see 25 in the bottom of your screen, there's no one around him. Ball touches the turf.
They're ruling it a catch. They're ruling it a catch. The ball comes to the 35. They've moved the sticks, so it looked like they had waved it off, but the sticks have moved to the 35.
They did wave it off. This official here to the right of your screen, 83, called it a catch. The one coming in from behind said no. And Blake Neal is livid.
Blake Neal is very angry, and it's understandable why. It looked like they had said incomplete. But they moved the ball up to the 35, St. Mary's, first down, Saskatchewan.
And he was pointing to the Jumbotron, but there is no replay in CIS football.
Well, that is strange, because it looked clearly like it was an incompletion. Handing off this time. Tyler Seawack. Hard yardage, picks up 2 or 3, getting it closer to the 30 of SMU. It's one thing to debate whether or not it was a catch, but the strange thing to me was, Jamie, it looked like the officials had said no catch.
Well, the one coming in from behind said no. He was waving it off. But the other official, who actually had the better view of it, said it was a catch. Now, to me, looking at the replay, it looked like it touched the ground. He did not have control of it. You can see it here. Well, I couldn't quite see it there. Look, but it bounced up into him.
Nonetheless, second down. Saskatchewan. Bell for David. He has it at the 5. It'll be first and goal, Saskatchewan. Aaron David from receiving end there.
And the smallest player on the field today at only 5'6", 160 pounds. Played with the Okanagan Sun. Comes down with a huge catch, bobbles it initially, but keeps his eyes on the football and tucks it away. Phil Robert's just not there in time.
Saskatchewan with a great chance to take the lead back. A lead they held briefly late in the half. First and goal, just outside the 5. Ball will be passing. Oh, intercepted! It is picked off by Joe Bonaventura. Biggest defensive play of the afternoon for St. Mary's.
Well, Joe Bonaventura, he's right down here. He's looking at the quarterback's eyes, and he also sees a receiver coming in here. He just steps in front and takes it away. And actually, Rod, I didn't think if he hadn't have picked it off, it looks like Cartier Shields would have had it. Wow, that's a big break for St. Mary's.
And big Stephen Morley, 64, normally an offensive lineman at his hands, right at ball's face, coming in those short yardage situations defensively for St. Mary's. First down, SMU. What a turn of events here in the third quarter, handing off. Dean Jones, the ball carrier, and gets up across the 10.
And you know, when you're down that close, you're thinking touchdown, of course, but you're also thinking, hey, you can't turn the ball over here, because if worse comes to worse, we get 3 points out of it if we take the lead.
What's happening? We're all right. That's better like that. What it's coming down to is you got to communicate and know what's going on there. You got it, Bill. You got it, Will.
It was an 11-play, 78-yard drive, snuffed out by the interception by Joe Bonaventura. Play action, fake over the middle, complete. First down, St. Mary's. Spinella threads the needle and gives Mike McPherson his first catch of the day. Up across the 25 for St. Mary's.
This is threading the needle here. Steve Pinella gets back. Good protection here. Has all sorts of time to step up, and he steps right into that throwing lane. And Mike McPherson comes down with a catch. But lots of time, that's the key.
They spot the ball at the 24. First down, St. Mary's. Trying to drive back. After that interception. Handing off. Dean Jones. Nowhere to run. Tyson Craig's in there for Saskatchewan.
Well, they're trying to run that counter sweep again back to Dean Jones. And there's just a whole lot of Huskies in there waiting for him.
For 3 straight weeks, Dean Jones has had big first half numbers.
Look at that average, 10.3 yards, 1 touchdown. He had that one game this year where he only had 7 carries for 177 yards. So.
That'll bring the old average up, won't it? Lots of time for Pinella. Good coverage, of course, by Saskatchewan as he goes on the run. And gingerly steps across the 30 before he's taken down, shy of a first down. It'll be close. To about the 33, but a yard shy.
It's a great block here by Paul Fleming on number 35, Jesse McCulchuk. But nonetheless, Justin Pulowski stops Steve Pinella short of getting the first down. Pretty good block right there. See it disappear out of your screen. But St. Mary's are forced to punt.
Dave Stalla ran into his own man that time, Pinella, into Olaf Tomiak. Dave Stalla will be punting this ball. Pinella heads off to the sidelines. Remember the one in the first half for Stalla when he bobbled the snap. It got blocked and led to a Saskatchewan touchdown. Stalla later making amends, scoring a touchdown himself to give St. Mary's the lead. Low driving punt this time.
Around the world, people do things in different ways. For example, it is traditional among the Chinese for the groom's family to pay for the wedding, or weddings. In the West, however, it has been the custom for the bride's family to foot the bill. Sons, daughters, they're an expensive business, so it helps to know a bank that will help plan your finances, giving you personal advice on loans and investments. HSBC, the world's local bank.
Endless summer awaits, thanks to the spa and pool heating, cooking, and lighting of natural gas. Efficient, reliable, economical. We're making the most of the great outdoors. You're always comfortable with natural gas.
Got the NFL on TSN coming up tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, with an AFC battle between the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos. Watch it live on TSN. Got some football here. Lots of it left to be played at Sky over the 38th Vanier Cup. Past the midway point of the third quarter, a 2-point lead. St. Mary's over Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan has the ball and handing off on first down. Nowhere to run at all. Tyler Seawack, the ball carrier. Jeff Moody in there on the tackle, and Bruce Nelson as well.
You know, we've seen Saskatchewan really on their last possessions. I mean, the last possession, of course, and the first possession in the third quarter, but also at the end of the second quarter, been able to drive the ball effectively against St. Mary's. I mean, they've put together some nice 9-10 play drives and marched the ball in excess of 70 yards.
Saskatchewan has it back, but not enough for the first down. It's Drew Kendall recovering that football after the fumble, but Saskatchewan will have to punt.
That would have been interesting because I think Chad Rempel did have enough for the first down initially until the ball hit the carpet. Just bringing Chad Rempel inside, the ball coming right at your screen, trying to get up, and he loses the ball, and then they lose 2 yards. I think they had the first down, but now they'll be forced to punt. Drew Kendall, they have him listed as a tight end, but you know, they really kind of play him more as kind of a slot player. He's only 6'1", 190.
So that time a good set of downs for St. Mary's after Saskatchewan had driven the previous time all the way downfield. SMU was saved by an interception. Deep in their own end. Running it away, Jason Curry. Stays in the short side of the field. And a good tackle there by Graham Bell to make sure he doesn't get much at all. One returner tackling another in this Vanier Cup. Just under 4 minutes to go. It's still a 2-point game.
It's savings time on the BG55 blower at a Steel dealer near you. After all, Steel power isn't just for professionals. Steel, built to last, priced to sell.
Ralph! Ralph! Get in here!
Irritated throat?
Oh, apple cinnamon.
Fisherman's friend. Now an apple cinnamon.
Dandruff always on your back? Control it with new Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. A new force in effective dandruff control. Contains non-medicinal vitamins and fruit concentrate. Leaves your hair feeling soft and smelling great. Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. It's proven. Controls dandruff and helps keep flakes from coming back. Relieves itching, soothes the scalp. For hair that shines with all its strength, without the flakes. New Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Garnier.
Warner Brothers Pictures presents One Sick Mobster.
Yeah!
I'm going to release him into your custody.
You have to get a job now.
What's that supposed to be, a joke? Look at the size of that trunk. Could put 3 bodies in it. Robert De Niro.
There's got to be something that you like to do.
Well, I like hitting guys over the head with a baseball bat. That's always good. Billy Crystal.
Either he's in or he's dead.
I think in is better. If I had a vote, I would vote in.
Analyze that.
Starts Friday, December 6th.
Another busy Saturday, and you can find out what went on in the world of sports. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific with Sports Center, Jay Onright and David Amber.
zone coverage, and Justin Pawlowski was just sitting right in the hole. Play action pass to Gabe Harvey. Lots of time to throw it. But Pawlowski almost comes up with the interception. You know, it's a long throw. He's on one hash. He's trying to throw sideline all the way to the other. It's a good 45-yard pass. And the ball hangs up in the air a lot longer, and he's saying, I should have had that.
Out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10, Pinella. Stands, fires over the middle, has a man, first down. And then some for Jason Curry up near midfield. She has it up around the 48-yard line for SMU.
Well, St. Mary's love to run the crossing routes, and they bring Jay Curry. You watch in the middle of your screen, the referee actually ends up picking off Dean Jones right there. Then he throws in behind him. Jay Curry, a second-team an All-Canadian a year ago, caught a touchdown pass in the Vanier Cup against Manitoba.
One of those veterans, too. He was on the Huskies when they played against Laval in 1999. So was Dave Stella. Jason Curry, been around for a while, looking for another Vanier Cup. Taking the handoff nicely to Dean Jones and looking for Curry again, but it's too far. Out of bounds and incomplete.
Well, those are the ones that Steve Pinella would like to have back. Got a guy wide open to the sideline, and that was a nice fake here. He's a right-handed quarterback rolling to his left. You know, you always teach you got to get your shoulder back, you got to get your shoulder pointed to the receiver. That ball just kind of sailed off on him a little bit.
Steve Samara, the offensive coordinator for the SMU Huskies. Been with Blake Nill for a while now.
Right, he was also at St. FX in '96 as the offensive coordinator when they played against Saskatchewan.
Yeah, they would have memories of a different Vanier Cup that's shaping up the same way. Pump they go over the middle, complete to Dave Stella. Stella still going with the flag down and out of bounds. Could come against St. Mary's after the first down.
They're going to call that against St. Mary's, and I'll tell you, this is awful close because it looked like Atnas Mako, number 5, the receiver, made the block. Now remember, the rule says it's the initial point of contact. We watched Dave Stella catch the ball here, but watch the block.
Okay, hold it.
Couldn't quite see it there.
Have another look here.
Here we go, the top of your screen. Oh, that's a clip. Yeah, you can't do that. The initial point of contact cannot be the back.
Yes, it is a first down.
So it's still a first down, although the penalty goes against St. Mary's after that.
You know, he wants to try and make a block and make a play, but all coaches tell you, you know, if you can't see the front of his jersey, don't do it. You know, if you can't see the numbers, leave him alone.
So instead of going much deeper into Saskatchewan territory, the ball is back at midfield, 2:17 on the clock. And depending what SMU does here, a good chance the score could be the same at three-quarter time. Still 23-21, St. Mary's hanging on. Handing off inside, Dean Jones gets it inside the Saskatchewan 50. Gain of about 6 yards on that play.
What I kind of find interesting here too, Rod, is that we really haven't seen much of Billy Robinson, you know, coming in, and we talked about how he liked to run the option. In the AUS final this year against St. FX, they had him in there numerous times, and he had a lot of yards rushing in that football game. Now, maybe they're saving him for the fourth quarter, I don't know, but he's only carried the ball 3 times for 5 yards, but that was when they were close onto the goal line.
St. Mary's will have to play.
Well, it's good coverage by Saskatchewan downfield, and Steve Pinella trying to find a receiver, try to throw it back inside. Complete, of course, is another Dave Stella punt.
The whole dynamic of this game is interesting as you look at Steve Samara and you talk about St. Francis Xavier in 1996. X went on to the Vanier Cup. The head coach was John Stevens, but the defensive coordinator was Blake Nill, and Steve Samara was on the staff. They took on Brian Towers' very experienced Saskatchewan Husky team led by quarterback Brent Schneider. And Stella takes his time punting this one away. He hesitated again, and they nearly blocked it a second time, but hemmed in deep. Saskatchewan ends with 49 seconds to go on the clock. assists now with less than a minute to go in this third quarter. That Saskatchewan could be trailing by 2 heading to the fourth again, but they have the ball when we come back.
It's savings time on the BG55 blower at a steel dealer near you. After all, steel power isn't just for professionals. Steel, built to last, priced to sell.
Hello all, John Cleese here with a little Tykes Buzzabout mailbox to discuss proper postal correspondence. You'll find sealing envelopes requires quite a bit of drool. Nosy insects attempting to read your mail are to be severely punished. And finally, trying to mail yourself is ill-advised. Little Tykes for the way kids really play. Buzzabout mailbox comes with all the fun you see here.
Batteries not included, some adult assembly required.
I walk into a dark room now, and it's like I'm 5 again.
3 friends had nightmares too terrifying to imagine.
Something bad is happening.
What began in their minds
I can't go to sleep!
has become real. Wes Craven presents
What happens in your dreams?
They come for me.
Who comes?
They.
In theaters Friday, November 29th.
The quarterback's coach at U of S now, former star QB with Saskatchewan, won that Vanier Cup in '96 over St. FX. That was his final game in college football, and 2 years earlier was the MVP of this game in a losing cause in overtime to the Western Mustangs. What a career Brent Schneider had. And must see a parallel in this game as we head closer to the fourth quarter. Saskatchewan trailing by 2, just like it was in '96, although back then U of S was the heavy favorite over John Stevens and Blake Nils, St. FX expert.
Right, there, there's only been 2 players that have won the Ted Morris Trophy on 2 occasions, and Brett Snyder is one of them, won in '94, of course, in that thrilling game, and then again won it in 1996. The other one was, of course, Bill Rosolowski from Western in '76-77. And his father won the Ted Morris Trophy.
Val Snyder.
Val Snyder, as a player with the Alberta Golden Bears.
Back in 1967.
I know, okay, I'm going to tell him.
Brent Schneider busy at work now, talking with Sheldon Ball, and this is the final play of the quarter, and a pretty big one to boot. With Saskatchewan on second down and long and hemmed in pretty deep in their end zone, close to the 10. Keeping it on the ground is a good call, a big first down to get some breathing room. Stevens, the ball carry, up across the 25, and so Saskatchewan will start the fourth quarter still with the football and trailing by 2. Just like 6 years ago. A close Vanier, yet another one for the Saskatchewan Huskies, trailing St. Mary's by 2 points. First down to start the fourth when we come back.
This update is brought to you by Mr. Sub. There's always something good going down at Mr. Sub.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the TSN Newsroom. I'm Corey Warren. It is now official. Tom Wright is the new commissioner of the CFL. The announcement being made just moments ago at a news conference that is underway currently in Edmonton. We will have more details for you throughout the evening. In the meantime, let's get you up to speed on other stuff. NHL matinee, Islanders and Rangers. Third period tied at 1. Alexei Yashin circles, gets it to Brad Isbister. He goes 5-hole. The Isles would add another, and they go on to win the game 3-1. Other action currently going on is the Wild hosting the Predators. Look at the work by Andrew Burnett, fighting off a checker, circling the net, and then firing one past Mike Dunham to tie the game up at 1 apiece. And staying with the NHL, 12 games on tap tonight, including the Flyers and Maple Leafs, where Ed Belfour will go head-to-head for the first time against his former coach, Ken Hitchcock. And elsewhere, second-ranked Ohio State finished their season undefeated. They beat Michigan. We'll have more later.
Choice. Mr. Sub has a lot. How much? Ron Clancy reports.
Peter, after calculating every permutation of sub, wrap, bread, and topping, the exact number of choices is... Okay, who did this?
We've just received a bulletin about the return of the spicy chicken sub, Mr. Sub's hottest offer. Now back to Ron.
It's you, isn't it?
And remember, there's always something new going down at Mr. Sub.
R2 just brings everything together. It has action, it has adventure.
I love R2-D2. I didn't know R2 could fly.
Yoda really rocks in this movie. He just gets all into
He
it.
fights with his lightsaber. He's smart. He's very smart.
Watching their faces light up, it made me feel like a child again. It's just a great family movie.
Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, on DVD and video, available now at Walmart.
I bring them home with me.
15 minutes. That's all that one team is away from claiming Canadian University football's top prize. From the beginning of training camp, the dreams of 27 teams were focused on November 23rd. Now just 2 teams remain, and 15 minutes is all that stands between the realization of their dreams and their names on the Vanier Cup. These two schools have been Vanier Cup champions before. St. Mary's trying to win it for a second straight year. Saskatchewan trying to win it for the 4th time in school history.
You know, Rod, just prior to going to the break at the end of the quarter with Tyler Seawack's run, that was a huge play for Saskatchewan, getting them out of the backdrop of their own end zone.
Got it up across the 25 and a first down. Saskatchewan down by 2 to start the 4th quarter in this 38th Vanier Cup. Passing. Under pressure, ball gets it away. I think the arm was moving forward as they hit him, so, and of course the officials believe the same. So it goes incomplete to 2nd down.
Well, this pocket just kind of collapsed almost instantaneously. I think he's all set to go. And that was big Tim Burris, number 59, only 5'11", but 280 pounds. Saskatchewan facing 2nd down and 10.
Boy, the Saskatchewan Huskies in their Vanier history, this is their 6th appearance, and always the games are close with one exception, 89, the first one here at Skydome when they lost 35-10 Western. Since then, win or lose, the Saskatchewan Huskies are in a close Vanier Cup. They are again here. Faking the handoff to Seawack, and on the run, ball gets it away. Oh, nearly a great catch in traffic by Aaron David, but it's no good, and Saskatchewan will be punted.
And that was a nice job by Derek Watts in the corner, you know, to strip the ball away, because Aaron David had that as a catch. But he knocks the ball away, fake it inside to Tyler Seawack, work outside, left-handed quarterback rolling left. That's the easiest thing for him. But he gets that left hand in there and strips the ball away. Nice job by Derek Watson. That left hand in there, can't control it. And Sask have to punt.
Great defensive work there by Watson. Force Saskatchewan to punt. Blake Neal talks to his safety, Sean Mifflin. Without a Vanier Cup title, he wasn't around last year when they got one. He was there in a loss to Laval 3 years ago.
Watch ahead!
Charnotta. Away to Jason Curry. Dancing around in midfield. And down. This 4th quarter underway, and here's how the numbers look through 3.
Well, even though St. Mary still has more net yards, it's the rushing yards now starting to come up with Saskatchewan. They're starting to control a little bit of that front, the offensive line. 2 turnovers by each team. Quarterback sack. St. Mary's winning in that category 2-1.
As mentioned, close and close on the board as well. Saskatchewan's first victory coming 12 years ago against St. Mary's.
And when we look at those 3rd quarter stats, I think St. Mary's had 100 yards rushing in the 1st quarter alone. So the last 2 quarters, they really set down the run game.
Here's a guy that has a lot of that yardage. Dean Jones, they string him out, they take him down, no gain. 2nd down, good work defensively by Saskatchewan.
And Saskatchewan with 130 yards rushing in 3 quarters play. When you think of St. Mary's defense, they only allowed 78 yards rushing per game. It's a real good job of defense here, stringing it out, never allowing Dean Jones to get his shoulders turned upfield. Taking him down for no gain.
It's rare to say no gain when you're talking about Dean Jones. He's averaging over 10 yards a carry out of the shotgun on 2nd down. Canella setting up a screen. James Stella still on the move. Stella, 1st down and more inside the Saskatchewan 40. Whenever they get the ball to Stella, it seems to be a big play, Jamie.
You know, he's such a great player. They should get the ball in his hands more often. I mean, he continues to make play after play after play. They run the little screen pass in here. Now, you know, the rules have changed in the CIS. We regarding blocking on screens. Linemen are allowed to go downfield and make the blocks before the receiver catches the ball.
Gets down to the 37. Saskatchewan. SMU on the move with a 2-point lead. Clock ticking. 12:33. Handing off. Dean Jones. 1 foot tied up. Coughs at the ball after they blow it dead. So a short gain on that. It'll be 2nd and long. SMU. Talk about those close. Saskatchewan Vanier's, Jamie, a 3-point victory over St. Mary's 12 years ago. They got back in '94 and went to overtime. Ultimately, Saskatchewan lost to Western. 2 years later, as mentioned, that game against St. FX, where Brian Tauris and the Huskies ultimately won, but it was close heading into the 4th. They were actually trailing 12-0 at the half, and then in '98, they won it again over Concordia in a close game, 24-17. Not much for Dean Jones. Lakeland, what a nice catch for Paul Fleming, leaning the other way, still reaches down and hangs onto it.
Well, that stat we just saw in Dean Jones there, you know, it talks about how many yards he's had in the second half, only 10. What a testament to the Saskatchewan defense. They've done a great job of containing him in the second half.
Because of that catch by Fleming, though, it's a 3rd and very short, about a yard for SMU.
Well, looks like they brought in Billy Robinson. They're going to go for it on 3rd down.
Their short yardage option quarterback. He is a touchdown in this Vanier Cup. Easily have that 1st down in front of that huge offensive line for St. Mary's.
And, you know, if you just take a look at how Saskatchewan line up, and this kind of puzzles me because, you know, Robinson comes up and he will look at the line of he'll look at the defense and where it's set up, and then he knows he's going to angle left or right, and he'll angle left because that's where the big bubble is. There's nobody kind of over the left tackle. They have a linebacker backed off about 2 yards, and so that's just kind of gravy.
And on Robinson's touchdown, it looked like Saskatchewan was lined up the same way, which made it much easier for him. Back in the 1st half. Spinella back in. Selling the fake. Hanging on to it. On the run. Taken down at the 20. Gain of about 3 or 4. And this set of downs is starting to loom very large for both teams. Just as it did for Saskatchewan on their opening drive of the second half when they went all the way down near the same spot, inside the 5 actually, and had it intercepted.
You know, you're a quarterback. You can't kind of decelerate when somebody's going to come in and hit you. You know, you got to kind of slide or you got to get your shoulder down and go forward. You're just going to get yourself hurt. You're going to absorb all of the force from the tackling player.
Middle linebacker Darryl Balzer on the tackle there at Pinella after that gain. Closer to 5 yards. 2nd down. Dropping back. Lots of time. Can't find anybody, and they have him. He tries to throw it away ultimately after he was wrapped up. Back at the 35.
And they're calling that an incomplete pass.
Do you think they were a little late blowing the whistle?
I think so here. You know, take a look here. You know, he's looking downfield. First read's not there. Second read, third read. And now he's kind of behind in his reads. The pocket starts to fall apart. Now the referee didn't even have the whistle in his mouth when...
Lamberding, Gottslig finished it off.
But good coverage coming to do a lot of crossing action. Looks like there's people open. You got Atnas. They're all waving their hands. But, you know, he's kind of a read behind all of those guys, and then everything falls apart for him.
This will be the first field goal attempt of this Vanier Cup.
58.
A field goal try for St. Mary's and Dave Stalla with Paul Fleming holding at the 27. Certainly within his range. Trying to pad the lead to 5. And they do. Stalla with a 27-yard field goal. St. Mary's with a little more breathing room, but still not a lot. A 26-21 game in the 4th quarter.
Turkish way. Come on. Subway makes every sandwich just the way you want it. Hey, Kisa.
Hi. Everyone's unique. That's why Subway customizes every sandwich just the way you want, with your choice of deli meats, toppings, sauces, all on fresh baked breads.
How do you know I have a ferret?
I have my ways.
Subway, eat fresh.
Endless summer awaits, thanks to the spa and pool heating, cooking, and lighting of natural gas. Efficient, reliable, economical. We're making the most of the great outdoors. You're always comfortable with natural gas.
12 years ago, the Saskatchewan Huskies broke the hearts of the St. Mary's Huskies and their star quarterback, Chris Flynn, driving for the tying field goal. But on that play, he was hit by Don Bristow. Rob Dutton recovered the ball, and then Saskatchewan ran out the clock. The last game Chris Flynn played in the CIS, and he's at this game today. Standing by with Paul Hollingsworth. Paul?
Well, Rod, he played his last game 12 years ago. Still a pretty big star in the city of Halifax. Your football team in control here, sort of going for the second Vanier Cup in a row. Your thoughts on the game and what could be a pretty good day for St. Mary's fans?
Well, I'm a little nervous now. They got a 5-point lead, so maybe another touchdown would be great. But it's great to see them back here. Last year was amazing to see them finally win it too, and hopefully we'll do it again today.
That 1990 football game, down by 3 points in your career, the closest to winning the Vanier Cup. What do you think about that game? Is it a tough memory for you?
Well, yeah, it's always tough when you lose, and when you do lose, you realize there's a fine line between winning and losing, and it was a close game, didn't work out for us, but like I said, coming here last year and watching them finally win was a great feeling.
1996, a brief stint with the old Ottawa Rough Riders. Your football days, for the most part, behind you. What are you doing now?
I'm working in sales in Ottawa. I play a lot of pickup hockey now. That was my sport before I got into football, so just trying to keep in shape, playing hockey and keeping up with these guys a little bit too.
You said you wanted to say hello to somebody special.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to my daughter Chelsea, who's 10 years old, and she's in Montreal today, so I just want to say hi to Chelsea.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, thanks.
Rod, 3-time Heck Crichton winner, Chris Flynn.
Oh, he was a great one, Paul. Heck Crichton winner at 88, 89, and then 90 that final year. And I remember being down on the field, a sideline reporter, and the heartbreak there, 24-21 final. David Earl, by the way, who wore number 8 for Saskatchewan, named the MVP of that game.
And that was David Earl's second Vanier Cup, because he was a quarterback in the first year they were here in the Sky Dome in 1989 and got the victory the second time around.
Well, right now it's looking pretty good for St. Mary's. 8:12 to go. Let's see what Saskatchewan has, down by 5. Graham Bell. Good work by Graham Bell, keeping his feet and actually gaining a couple of yards instead of a big loss.
They're trying to run the old slot back sweep. Got David Bell lined up at the slot, bake it inside and bring him around, and Sebastian Clovis, a linebacker, comes in here and almost makes the play.
Coming right into your living room.
A lot of hitting going on down there.
There it is. 7:57 and counting now. What was a points explosion in the first half has really slowed down. Only 3 points on the board in the second half. Here we are midway through the fourth quarter of the 38th Vanier Cup. Oh, ball is dropped. A catchable football drop by Jeff Piercy, which would have been a Saskatchewan first down.
You know, that ball was just kind of in one of those awkward places in the ball where you don't know whether you have your fingers, your baby fingers together, your thumbs together. Coming around inside, it's a pretty well thrown ball, but it's just kind of right in that awkward position and fails to make the catch, and it forces a punting situation for Saskatchewan.
So a good break for St. Mary's now, with Charnotta on to punt. Curry back to return for SMU, 26-21.
Now Saskatchewan do have some gadgets on their punt team.
Nice punt. Charnotta chases Curry inside his 20. Finds a bit of a room, gets up to the 20.
car that feels like a big car. 2003 Echo.
It's got it. I love it, and I can't get enough of it. Ever tried to order a Swiss mushroom melt at a fast food restaurant other than Harvey's? Luckily, for a limited time, Harvey's Swiss mushroom melt is back. So enjoy real Swiss cheese and sautéed mushrooms on the best-tasting charbroiled burger. It's a taste you just can't get anywhere else. Real. Big. Taste. Harvey's.
Live the St. Mary's University experience in Halifax, Nova Scotia, one of Canada's most exciting cities. Maclean's and Canadian Business Magazine rank St. Mary's as one of the top 10 universities in the country. 200 years of excellence in higher education meets cutting-edge programs and research in arts, commerce, and science, and the latest technology. St. Mary's campus is wired with internet access ports everywhere students work, meet, and live in residence. St. Mary's University, everything you need is right here. Visit the campus online.
Back at Skydome, 7:12 in the clock in the fourth quarter. St. Mary's has the football just inside the 30. First and 10. Trying to hang on to a 26-21 lead, looking to claim their third national championship and their second straight, looking to become the first in a quarter century to win back-to-back. Dean Jones stretching it out to the left, cuts it up. Good yardage, finally written down after a gain of close to 9 yards. The clock continues to tick. For the most part, Saskatchewan's done a great job on Jones in the second half. Although that one hurts, less than a yard, by the looks of things, to a first down.
But, they've done such a great job of stringing him out. They haven't really overcommitted. They've gained proper leverage, and they're just not allowing him to get up the field because that's what really hurt them in the first half.
Jones exploded in that first half, taking their second possession, driving right down for the touchdown, 112 yards. And on that short yardage, I don't know if they made it. If they did, it's by an inch or less. This will be an interesting spot, although they still have another down to work with. Initial contact, that was Erico Hakeem, the fullback, on that carry. Well, they're marking it a first down. They said they didn't need very much at all.
Just had to get to the line. The white line. Looked like he was stopped initially, but his surge forward.
Well, they don't even want to measure it. They call it a first down.
And the thing now is that time becomes Blake Neal's ally. He wants to try and keep running as much time off the clock as possible.
5:46 and ticking down here.
No, he's got it. He's all right. He's good.
This has been a very quick second half by the real clock. On first down, Pinella. As a man, Stalla, another great catch with a player of the game in the Churchill Bowl last week. Gets it up across midfield.
Justin Pawlowski thinks he's got an interception here. And Dave Stalla does what you try to teach all young receivers is come back to the football. Don't wait for the ball to come to you and get the ball at its highest point. See, number 5, Pawlowski thinks he's got a great pick. He's going to take it all the way, but Stalla comes back to the football. Makes a great play. Real nice job by Dave Stalla. The other thing, you notice how when he goes up and he came down, see where his feet were pointed? They were pointed towards the goal line.
He's had a nose for it over the years. Nice catches for the Vanier Cup, too. He had a beautiful one last year against Manitoba.
Well, that was a big stick by Matt Lemmerding, number 42, the defensive lineman.
Remember this one against the Bisons a year ago by Dave Stalla and their 42-16 victory in that Vanier Cup?
And they have this picture plastered over every poster. It's all over Toronto. Dave Stalla and his butts.
That was Patrick Tebow with the touchdown. Here's Stalla. Whoa!
Incredible catch.
Shane Munson, the quarterback from Manitoba there, picked up by Kyle Morrison. Not back this year. Boy, they were missing him. He took it in for the touchdown. SMU went on to win that Vanier. And Jason Curry on the receiving end, and under 4.5 minutes now on the clock. Back-to-back cups is starting to look a little better for St. Mary's.
I just love what St. Mary's did here right now. They're running these crossing routes, and Saskatchewan were in zone, and it looked like, hey, we're going to pick up these guys as they cross, but when they came across the middle, Curry stopped, and they got the ball to him. This is really a nice play here. Going to come from your left of your screen to the right, and then he stopped right in the hole, and he holds it. And you see was out there waiting for him to come across. He was going to lay one on him, but that was a really nice job.
So St. Mary's continues to kill the clock in Saskatchewan zone. Throwing it back. And a flag goes down late just as he's ridden hard out of bounds.
I think that's going to be against Paul Fleming for blocking from behind. It's going to be against St. Mary's. Martin it back. And you know, St. Mary's run this play.
On the offense. First down retriever.
Now, you notice Restelo takes the ball, he's behind quarterback. That's a lateral, that's not a pass. You know, they have something in their system where they throw that to him and then he throws it down the field. It's right down the bottom there. It's Fleming, number 80, at the bottom of your screen. That looked like a pretty good block to me, but...
So it comes back to the 47 of Saskatchewan's on a 1st and 20. SNU. Down under 4 minutes now. 3:55 and still ticking down against the Saskatchewan Huskies. Within a touchdown of getting the lead back, but they need to get the ball back, and they won't here. It's Curry! Jason Curry inside the 5. 1st and goal. St. Mary's trying to put the icing on the cake in this Vanier Cup.
What a nice job by Steve Pinnell, and it all starts with the protection. All sorts of time, look straight down the middle. And Jason Curry comes on, catches it in a full stride. Boy, you know, when games get tight, great players end up making great plays. This is a real nice job here by Jason Curry, an all-Canadian receiver a year ago, was not an all-Canadian selection this year. Had a touchdown catch in the Vanier Cup a year ago. It looks like he's hurt.
Curry playing his final game in the CIS. One of the many players recruited, brought in by Blake Nill when he first started in 1998.
And I just saw his high school coaches here earlier. Bob Stacey, a former Warford Laurier Golden Hawk defensive back, coaches that Nelson team. We saw Jesse Lumsden came out of there. John Behe from McMaster last week.
And a homecoming of sorts for him when he played at McMaster last week. From Burlington, there were a lot of Hamilton natives playing for St. Mary's. Said some family out to watch them defeat McMaster last week at Les Prince Field, but favoring his left arm. But
it's like a separated shoulder when you carry your arm like that, but let's hope that's not that serious and he can come back in.
You know, it's his final game, but he has a great chance, the way things are looking now, in part because of that reception, of going out as a back-to-back Vanier Cup champion. Canella stands over center on a 1st and goal. Handing off. Gabe Harvey with it. Cuts it down to about the 2 or 3.
Now, a field goal right now would only make it 8 points, and
son. Takeout. Why scrimp and save to get what you want? Shop smart and use your Air Miles reward miles. You want it? Air Miles. It's yours.
There's an awesome pirate!
Ooh, that cloud looks like a big bunny rabbit.
Right now, your kids can discover a strawberry petite Danone fresh cheese inside the latest McDonald's Happy Meal that features one of 8 awesome lifelike characters from Disney's great new animated adventure movie, Treasure Planet.
Whoa! A solar gallery with laser cannons!
Got a heck of an imagination there, kiddo.
Ralph, get in here.
Irritated throat.
Oh, apple cinnamon.
Fisherman's friend. Now an apple cinnamon.
Sheldon Ball is against the wall, talking to Brent Schneider now. They're down by 12 points. With very little time to go. Ball's about to get the ball. Steve Pinellas, opposing quarterback, leading a long drive, 8 plays, 81 yards, capped off by a 2-yard touchdown run by Gabe Harvey, putting St. Mary's on the threshold of another national title. Stalla with the kickoff. Graham Bell settling under it at the 7. And ultimately taken down at the 25. 8 plays, 81 yards, and just as critical, 4.5 minutes taken off the clock. Only 2:36 to go now.
And the key play was that 46-yard catch by Jay Curry when St. Mary's are facing 2nd down and 20.
Good play on that drive. Now, how do you defend Saskatchewan now? Remember last week in a somewhat similar situation, St. Mary's laid off. They gave McMaster a lot of long yardage on the run.
Well, if you take a look at how Saskatchewan has played today, they haven't really stung St. Mary's with anything big. They had to drive the ball. I think St. Mary's are just going to play the same kind of defense they've been playing.
Ball under pressure, gets it away to Seawack, but they wrap him up. And they lose yardage, 2 or 3.
They're trying to run the screen there to Seawack. But, you know, you have to stop somebody initially. You just can't allow Burris to get up into the quarterback's face that quick. You got to hit, stop the initial charge, and then slide out and let him go. That play had no chance.
Let's go down to Paul Hollingsworth. Paul.
From Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia, Gabe Harvey perhaps delivering the decisive blow today, giving your team the big lead. Tell me a bit about the run.
It was a gutsy call. We went on 2 in the goal line. Everybody's fired up. You got to trust they'll go on 2, and they did. And I had a great pull block by John Salmas, and he got me in there.
It's been a battle today, 14-0 early, but this team made it close.
It's been a battle. It's definitely been a battle. We've been sticking together, and now we're going to try to pull this one out. We're still all together as a team and as a family, and we do what we do best. Like, I didn't drive that down. Dean had nice runs. We got down there. I just straight ahead, and I got that little 3-yard plunge for the touchdown.
Thanks, Gabe.
Thank you.
Rod.
All right, thank you, Paul.
And you know, one thing, you look at St. Mary's, you think of, you know, they dress the 4 or 5 running backs. You know, they use them all. I mean, it's not like you have your key guy, of course, is Dean Jones, but they rotate Erico Hakeem in, Gabe Harvey. We've seen Les Mullins and also Stephane Lubin.
Harvey last week in Hamilton in the second half especially busted off some key runs. He had a touchdown in that Churchill Bowl. Nice to see, as you mentioned, a local product, Maritimer, involved in what could be another national title for St. Mary's. You know, well, of all the remarkable stats, how about this one? You and I called the game the last time they lost on artificial turf, on their home turf, at Husky Stadium in 2000 in the Atlantic Bowl against the Regina Rams. But look at the points for and against.
They just dropped the 6 and the 5 off of each of those. I mean, that's like a score of 70-10 in all the games that they're playing. I mean, now granted, the 105-0 score helped last year.
Another injury for Saskatchewan. The left tackle, Chris Sutherland, not looking good at all as he hobbles off the field. Here's how. Watch 63.
Got rolled into.
Play to resume now as Sutherland is just off on the sideline. 2:19 on the clock. 2nd down, big play.
Sheldon ball, it's really tough to kind of reach back into your bag of tricks when you're in your own end and it's third down. And this is your season is on the line. But, you know, interesting enough that in the last series with St. Mary's, what I liked about what they did, they came with a halfback blitz. They brought Cartier Field. And they didn't lay back. I mean, they were trying to play the same defense as playing. To say, you know, that old cliche, the only thing prevent defenses do is prevent you from winning. Sebastian Clovis in the game.
Well, this is it. 2:12 on the clock. It's hard to imagine Saskatchewan winning this game if they don't get at least a first down here. Ball deeper, and it's caught close to first down yardage. Very close, but perhaps just a bit shy.
I think he is shy.
Drew Kendall, and look at the spot he gets. I don't think it's enough. And oh, is it ever close? Inches. Maybe a foot. They bring the chains out to be sure, but I don't think so.
And the referee did spot the ball where the initial catch was made, and then the hit drove him back, but it looked like he's going to be short by just a few inches.
Yes, he is. About a foot. And, oh, oh boy, talk about inches. Literally 2 inches. With Saskatchewan's season really hanging in the balance of that measurement.
I thought he was across the line.
Too early for a celebration with 2:03, but SMU is very much in control. And this is Blake Nill's job now to make sure they don't start celebrating. They're a little sensitive about 12-point leads against Saskatchewan teams, by the way.
Exactly. Sheldon ball back here. Pretty good protection. Steps up. It's a nice catch.
64 report.
That was a very good spot, actually, by the official because that's where he caught it. You know, you got to take it down and make sure you get the first down on third down.
Keeping it on the ground. Gabe Harvey had that touchdown and that first down. You know, we talked about their last loss in artificial turf, 2000 Atlantic Bowl against another Saskatchewan team, the Regina Rams, trailed by 12, albeit they had more time in the clock than this. And Neil Hughes, a couple of returns. And boy, St. Mary's thought they had a Vanier Cup team that year.
I'll tell you, it wasn't much more time than we have right now, but they scored 2 quick ones.
Awfully hard now if they can't get the ball back, and that's the problem. It's been a good ball control offense by St. Mary's today. Gabe Harvey once again the ball carrier and gets close to a first down.
You know, that's a dangerous play right now. I don't understand that one at all. I mean, you know, you think you can kind of run the clock out here, but boy, I'll tell you, if Billy Robinson misses the pitch or they make a play on it, I mean, this game is not over. It was a nice pitch, but I'll tell you, you're kind of playing with fire doing that with a minute 30 left on the clock.
Well, Saskatchewan stands to get the ball back. It's 3rd and 1.
I think they'll...
Or they're just going to go for it.
Yeah, they're going to go for it, run down all the time off the clock, and then call a timeout.
Yeah, Bill Robinson stays in. Of course, the short yardage quarterback, 120, 119, I guess, would be obviously more prudent than to take a chance having a field goal attempt blocked. Robinson heading off to talk to Blake Nill now.
Good clock management.
His father, Bill Sr., a great quarterback with St. Mary's and then at Western. Won national titles, went on to play in the CFL with the Ottawa Roughriders. Last team to repeat, Jamie Bones, Western Mustangs. They beat Acadia in '76, and there he is, the young QB. You tell me what's going on here.
Oh, we're just running, I think we call that a flag route.
Talk about threading a needle.
I tried to string it in there to Rick Haswell, and he kind of took it all away. And then we played Acadia again the next year, and that was Nigel Wilson, who's now a receiver coach at Western, receiving that catch.
How tough is it to repeat, and did you think it would take this long, a quarter century, for another team to...
No, I really didn't. I thought, you know, when we played, we knew Manitoba had done it. We thought they had done it, 7 years earlier. But I think right now it's harder to repeat now, no question. I think the parity in this league is so much better. The coaching is much better now. I mean, when we played, we always thought maybe out of 24 teams, maybe 10 teams had a shot. But now, by witnessing Saskatchewan, a 4-4 team gets in here, they had a chance and they're close to winning.
On third down, handing off to Harvey. First down and more. Coughs up the football, but they've blown it dead. It's still St. Mary's football. And that is going to be just about it. 107
Bryson Taylor, and of course the captain of the U of T team that won the very first Vanier Cup, his name was Bryce Taylor.
One of those bizarre coincidences. Steve Samara, boy, they've been together a while. They were at X together. Joe Bonaventura with the big play of the second half that prevented the touchdown. That interception down near the end zone, and a great Saskatchewan drive in the second half. Keeping it on the ground, Gabe Harvey again. 23-22, stopped again. Kudos to the Saskatchewan Huskies for getting here. A 4-4 season. A remarkable program run by Brian Tauris. And St. Mary's getting set to celebrate another national championship.
You know, Brian Towers told us in 1998, he said, I don't think you'll see us back here for a while, because he said Regina's coming in, we'll probably split the talent of the province. But then we had Regina here in the year 2000. They're back again. I tell you, football in Saskatchewan is in great shape, obviously.
And the clock goes down to 0. Winner and still champion. The top dogs still belong in Halifax. St. Mary's, the first Canadian university team to win back-to-back championships in 25 years. Those Huskies are still number one.
Now when we battled hard all day, we played hard all year. We'll have lots of time to talk about it. We'll talk about it the rest of it. I'm proud of all of you. Let's go shake your hand. Three cheers, boys. Hip, hip. Give them their moment.
Words from Brian Tauris, who knows both sides. The championships, he won 3. He's lost 3 as well. 6 appearances. Knowing both sides, and there's a man, you may not get another who's won 2 Vanier Cups with the Huskies, Saskatchewan, and St. Mary's. When will that happen again? Chris Cembalaris, the left guard, celebrating with St. Mary's 4 years ago on the winning side with Saskatchewan when they beat Concordia.
Won 3 Vanier Cups. Really quite incredible when you think about how many guys play in the CIS and how many teams there are. 26, of course. Next year, Montreal comes in. Excuse me, Sherbrooke comes in next year. And you think of, he's won 3, and some guys will never even get a sniff. Real special for Chris Cembalaris.
Thanks, Coach.
In Halifax and in all of Nova Scotia, I'm sure, the celebration is just underway for the St. Mary's Huskies. Back-to-back national title. First team to do it since Western in 1977. Steve Piniella wasn't on the roster, wasn't backing up Ryan Jones last year. He comes in and delivers a remarkable performance.
Much New Brunswick, love you very much. 2 in a row.
We'll talk about the Maritimes, New Brunswick there, and Ian Ferguson, offensive lineman. 12 years ago, it was the other way around. Saskatchewan celebrating a national title. You see some ex-teammates embracing Cembalaris there. Let's go down to Paul Hollingsworth. Paul?
Well, Rob, with Blake Nill as he's shaking hands with the Huskies here. Obviously, Blake, a tight, nerve-wracking game. We watched it on the sidelines, but in the end, your defense shut them down in the second half.
Defensively, man, they played so well. We made a few adjustments at halftime, shut them out second half. I can't say enough about them. You know, they're undersized compared to last year, inexperienced compared to last year, but man, they rose to the occasion.
This team for you this year, a bit of a bumpy ride compared to last year. You lose to St. FX and Acadia on back-to-back weekends. Some people said this team was down and out. 5 straight wins, 6 today, and you're the Vanier Cup champs on back-to-back seasons.
Well, it just says so much about the kids, right? It's all, the coaches don't play the games, right? They get them ready, but the players have to go out and play the games, and I can't say enough about them.
Your thoughts on some of your 5-year kids? You brought them in here 5 years ago. Today you say goodbye to them, but they're taking a Vanier Cup banner with them.
Yeah, it's pretty emotional. I'm gonna start crying here if I don't watch it. No, I'm gonna miss them so much, but hey, now they're alumni, they can start, you know, helping me out financially maybe.
Final question, the Huskies for next year. Can you three-peat?
We're going to say we can. You know, who would think we could do it this year? But we're going to say we can. We'll recruit like, you know, we're going to recruit our butts off this winter, fill the holes we need to, and we'll see what we got next year.
Thanks, Blake.
Thanks, Paul.
Rod?
Thank you, Paul. He's just enjoying the repeat right now, and as he should, with the handshakes all around between the Huskies of Saskatchewan and the champion St. Mary's. 33-21, and the way it was all shaping up in the first half when it was just a 2-point game and stayed that way through 3 quarters. Paul Fleming, Bruce Nelson. Let's go down to the Saskatchewan sideline now. And Kevin Watkins.
Well, thanks, Rod. I've got Brian Towers with me. Brian, I guess the biggest play was the third quarter, the interception at about the 4 or 5 yard line.
Yeah, as it turns out, you know, we came out, drove the ball all the way down the field. Had we jammed it in there and taken the lead, taking the lead back, it might have made life a little tougher for them. I didn't think they'd shut us out in the second half, and they did. They made the plays when they had to, and you know, we were 1 or 2 short today.
Yeah, what happened in the second half? Like you said, you never really got the momentum after that interception.
No, we got some first downs, but we couldn't string anything together, and we dropped a couple balls, and you know, they did a bit better job. And one thing they did is they controlled the ball a little bit again too. So give them credit. They're a great football team. I thought our kids played their hearts out though.
Thanks very much. Brian Towers, head coach of Saskatchewan.
This is the big interception by Joe Bonaventura in his 5th year, his final game. What was a key drive for Saskatchewan snuffed out right there. And Saskatchewan would score no points at all in the second half as St. Mary's went on to the victory. The Huskies celebrate for the 2nd straight year here at Skydome.
It's Wood Pro bonus time at a steel dealer near you. Steel, built to last, priced to sell.
This is the life. This is your home away from home. This is your signature dish. This is marinating. And this is the life.
Live the St. Mary's University experience in Halifax, Nova Scotia, one of Canada's most exciting cities. Maclean's and Canadian Business Magazine rank St. Mary's as one of the top 10 universities in the country. 200 years of excellence in higher education meets cutting-edge programs and research in arts, commerce, and science, and the latest technology. St. Mary's campus is wired with internet access ports everywhere students work, meet, and live in residence. St. Mary's University, everything you need is right here. Visit the campus online.
Pay gym membership, $55. Pay cable and phone bill, $83. Pay newspaper, internet, electric, gas, renters, and book club, DVD club, train pass, $220. Not needing a reminder for monthly bills? Priceless. Set up automatic payment of your monthly bills. Learn how at mastercard.ca. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Presenting our longer-lasting, more powerful high-tech battery for all your high-tech devices, the new and improved Energizer E-Squared. Do you have the bunny inside?
You can't do business like that. You screw up, you make trouble, this is what happens.
These days, all kinds of companies are doing away with inefficiency at the office. Discover Brother Workgroup Solutions and put the hit on inefficiency.
Business is business. Hey, you want a cannoli?
Ralph, get in here.
Irritated throat.
Oh, apple cinnamon.
Fisherman's friend. Now an apple cinnamon.
Getting set for the presentation of the Vanier Cup to the St. Mary's Huskies. Let's go down to Paul Hollingsworth. Paul?
Well, Rod, I'm sort of hanging off the podium here, surrounded by maroon and white Huskies. Judy McRae from the CIS, Steve Letwin from the presenting sponsor, Enbridge, here to present the Vanier Cup to the back-to-back champions, the St. Mary's Huskies from Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Hey, Coach.
Boys, there's your cup.
Coach, get in.
Fifth-year running back from St. Mary's. We're live on camera. Dean, your thoughts on a great way to end your university football career?
I couldn't picture anything better, you know. I hoped at the beginning of the year that I'd have this chance, and it comes down to it. I got to give a great thanks out to my O-line. They played hard, they played physical, and we just got the job done.
For your career, you started off kind of slow at St. Mary's with a foot injury, but 3 Vanier Cup appearances over 5 years. Not a bad way to spend your career in Halifax.
Yeah, not too bad at all. You know, there's not a lot of student athletes you can say they've had the success that we've had, and I'm just so proud to be part of this organization.
Thanks, Dean. Congratulations.
Thanks, Paul.
All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the presentation of the Ted Morris Trophy for the offensive MVP from the St. Mary's Huskies, quarterback Steve Pinella. Steve Pinella, this year's Ted Morris winner for the offensive MVP from the St. Mary's Huskies.
Good stuff, eh? You say hi to Larry Utek for me, won't you?
Oh, yeah,
For
definitely.
sure? Okay, for sure. Congratulations.
That's
Just a
And Steve, if you will, a great win for your team. This time last year, you weren't even dressed for the Vanier Cup. 1 year later, you're the offensive MVP.
Right. Oh, well, this feels great. You know, the offensive group we have here is truly amazing, and you know, I think they get a lot more. They did a lot better than I did, I think. So
this team was tested today. A 14-0 lead early. It looked like you were going to roll over Saskatchewan, but that wasn't the case.
Well, you know, our whole game plan this week was to minimize our mistakes, and we made some mistakes and to capitalize on them. Right. And later in the game, we kept them to a minimum, and we came out on top.
People outside of Halifax didn't understand the quarterback tandem. You and Billy Robinson, I know you're friends off the field. On the field, a lot of good chemistry there. 2 equal parts making up one great quarterbacking tandem.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, you know, I think earlier in the season we were kind of fighting each other, you know, trying to make big plays, and then when we just you know, accepted the fact and the coaches emphasized both of our strengths.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Okay, congratulations, Steve Pinella, the Ted Morris winner for the offensive MVP from the St. Mary's Huskies. And now for the very heavy presentation of the Bruce Coulter winner for the defensive MVP from St. Mary's, Joe Bonaventura. Can you lift it? Joe, if there's one turning point to this game, it's your interception early in the third quarter. Tell me a bit about that play.
Well, they went into empty coverage, and the guy I was covering didn't release, so I just kind of drifted back a little bit, and the quarterback just happened, you know, not to see me, and I just stepped in front of the ball, and that was it.
Rather fitting that St. Mary's Huskies football team, known for strong defense. Coach Nill loves to talk about defense. Defense was the winning factor in the second half for your team.
Absolutely. We came a little flat in the second quarter. But, you know, we made some adjustments at halftime, and I think we did a good job of that. And Coach Nill has always been our motivator. He's the guy who runs the show. We trust Coach, and we play for Coach.
Your thoughts on the offensive MVP, your teammate, Steve Pinella?
Steve Pinella, there's nobody like him. The kid did an amazing job his first year starting, and, you know, at the beginning of the season, we didn't think that, you know, he was going to do as well as he did, and he proved a lot of people wrong, including myself.
Thanks, Steve. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd Boss. All right, that's Joe Bonaventura. Rod Smith, up to you.
Thanks, boss.
All right, Paul, our TISO players of the game. On defense, Joe Bonaventura for that interception, snuffing out a great drive in the third quarter. Bonaventura gets that one. And then on offense, it is the quarterback, Steve Piniella, leading the way for that impressive St. Mary's offense. The TISO offensive player of the game. TISO Swiss watches since 1853. Oh yeah, says Piniella and the St. Mary's Huskies. The best Huskies in the country, the best team period, after a 33-21 championship over Saskatchewan.
The new Infiniti G35 Coupe. When did it start for you?
Around the world, people do things in different ways. For example, it is traditional among the Chinese for the groom's family to pay for the wedding, or weddings.
Oh, bonsoir, chérie.
In the West, however, it has been the custom for the bride's family to foot the bill. Sons, daughters, they're an expensive business, so it helps to know a bank that will help plan your finances, giving you personal advice on loans and investments. HSBC, the world's local bank.
Choice. Mr. Sub has a lot. How much? Ron Clancy reports.
Peter, after calculating every permutation of sub, wrap, bread, and topping, the exact number of choices is... Okay, who did this?
We've just received a bulletin about the return of the spicy chicken sub, Mr. Sub's hottest offer. Now back to Ron.
It was you, wasn't it?
And remember, there's always something new going down at Mr. Sub.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Cause you heard the design is I'm angry. 5 days since you laughed at me, saying come back and see me. Yesterday, you've forgiven me, but it'll still be 2 days till I say I'm sorry. Like vanilla, it's the finest of the flavors. And to see the show, cause then you know the vertigo is at my door. And it's a banger, it's your life to sign a waiver. I have a tendency to wear my mind up my sleeve. I had this it's been 1 week since you looked at me. Dropped your eyes to the sides and said I'm sorry.
The 2002 Vanier Cup on TSN is brought to you in part by the new Infiniti G35 Coupe. Prepare to be noticed. By HSBC, the world's local bank. And by Mr. Sub. There's always something good going down at Mr. Sub.
Time now for the TSN turning point. I don't think there's any question. First drive of the third quarter. Saskatchewan trailing by 2. They go the length of the field. And then this Sheldon ball. Looking over the middle. Picked off by middle linebacker Joe Bonaventura.
Happier to be down 2 than 14. Thank you very much. Good deal. Okay, Brian Towers.